Patrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Well, that intro is out of date after this week. My name is Ben Blessington. You're listening to the Jet Take. I'm here with my co-host, Kyle Fahey. Kyle, an official member of the NFL media. How are you doing, man?
Hell yeah. I'm doing well. You know what's sad, though? Like, that was the first thing I thought of when I heard that Eric Decker got cut. I was like, oh, no, our intro.
And now it's just, Kyle, now it's just a part of
classic.
Jets. Yeah, it's a classic memory. But yes,
honestly,
obviously.
That was our best game in, like, the past 5 years. Probably.
Not.
Yeah.
Since 2011, I guess. Yeah, I guess I give you that. Yeah, obviously a lot to unpack this week. I mean, there's just never a dull moment as a Jets fan. It just seems like there is always something going on. This week, of course, the Jets released Eric Decker, or excuse me, he has not been released yet, but he's going to either be released or traded. We'll talk about that.
Great poker call.
They released David Harris. Longtime member, longtime middle linebacker and hopeful Ring of Honor member, I would assume. And they wrapped up their last OTA practice of the spring. So we'll see the Jets back at training camp in a few weeks. So Kyle, without further ado, what was your take on this week? We'll hop into the specifics, but just a brief overview of how you're feeling after our last episode to now.
Well, let's do this in chronological order because, the last episode that we did, I don't think we covered the Calvin Pryor for Demario Davis trade, right?
No, we did.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
Oh. Well, that's awkward. Well, let's continue in chronological order. Leonard Williams can straight dead.
Oh, yes, I completely forgot about that. We will talk about that little incident, but it doesn't seem like it's too big of a deal.
No, it wasn't a big deal. The initial reaction was, oh, look at Leonard Williams just man-childing Deron Lee.
Man-childing? You mean manhandling?
No, man-childing.
Man-childing?
Yeah.
Is that a verb now?
I just made it up. Official members of NFL media. Kofifi, yes. We're providing great Kofifi of all these events over the past week.
Well, yeah. So let's do it in chronological order. I guess we'll start we'll talk about that issue first. Yes. So obviously, for those who don't know, but if you are on Twitter, you probably saw the video of Leonard Williams, Darren Lee, both at a concert. They're good friends off the field. Probably one of the closer duos off the field. They hang out a bunch, and they went to this concert. Little did we know at the time, but Darren Lee got in an argument with his girlfriend, as it was reported by Todd Bowles this week. Got a little intense. Nothing physical, but it seemed like it was escalating.
Oh,
Leonard Williams.
Nothing physical? He lifted him in the air.
No. I'm talking about Darren Lee's fight with his girlfriend.
Okay.
And it seems like it was escalating. Leonard Williams saw this, and according to a witness account, and the video, basically just forklifted him in the air and carried him off. And it has its pros and its cons. It shows that Leonard Williams is the undisputed leader of this team. He not just on the field but off the field. I mean, the wherewithal to be at a concert. He's probably been drinking too, and to be like, this is going to go bad.
How old's Deron Lee? He's like 23, right?
When are you going to start saying his name right? It's Darren Lee.
When he gets my respect. How about that?
So we're just going to keep calling him Deron Lee. Okay, fine. Yeah. Deron Lee. No, he's just had a call.
It sounds better. It honestly sounds better than Darren. I like Deron better.
I believe he's like 22 or 23.
On the cusp. Spin zone for you. Number one.
He's 22. So yeah, no. Okay. So I mean, look. I mean, he was probably drinking. It seems. I'm not trying to minimize it. Obviously, he was drinking. He got in a fight with his girlfriend. We don't necessarily know why. As Jay pointed out, I mean, who knows? He could have came out and came back, and she was making out with some other dude, and then Darren Lee just flipped. He lost his cool. Like you have no idea what happened.
That's a pretty
situation. So no, the point is Darren Lee is obviously a little immature. And before this, I mean, his tweets. I mean, he deleted all his tweets this week, but
yeah.
I mean, all
that must have took a while. That must have took a long time.
Taken.
No.
Taken a while.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm not doing it. Nope.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, he's definitely an interesting guy on the field. He showed his potential I mean, he was right to an extent. I mean, he started blaming God for his. He was like, God decided to mess with my ankle. I was like, that God,
that dude up there.
Yeah, I know.
He's
but
racist.
I mean, look, he showed us he flashed some potential, but I definitely expected a little more from him in the pass coverage game. But I think he'll take the next step. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is the fact that the Jets cut David Harris. We'll get to that in a second. Shows that Todd Bowles has a lot of trust in Darren Lee to keep developing. So overall, not a huge deal. Shows that Leonard Williams is a leader, so that's the positive part. Also shows that Darren Lee has to grow up a bit, but I don't expect the NFL to. I mean, they can't really do anything. No laws were broken. I mean, as far as the NFL is concerned, Leonard Williams just hugged his teammate and carried him. Like, there's nothing they can really do. There are no punches thrown.
Like sucker punches the little brother. So it just happens.
No, Leonard Williams saw that there was an escalating situation that could go poorly for Darren, and as his friend and teammate, just picked him up and took him out of the air. So I think that has its pros and its cons. But overall, I think it's a positive story, at least for Leonard Williams, and hopefully Darren Lee can keep maturing. Yeah, let's talk about the
spin zones. Ready for the spin zones of that story? All right, first spin zone. First of all, I'm a firm believer that Todd Bowles has social media. We just don't know about it. So he saw this, and his
he definitely has an egg account somewhere.
Yeah, his immediate reaction was, "Wow, why do we need a liability in the middle of the field to be our leader when our defensive tackle is the leader?" There's your first spin zone.
What? What was that point, Kyle? What was that take?
Maybe that's why David Harris got cut. What else was he offering besides leadership? And then
so is your joke here that Leonard Williams is going to play middle linebacker for the Jets?
No, the joke here is that Todd Bowles only thought of David Harris as a leader because he sucks on the field, realistically. So they said, hey, if he's taking up that was good timing. Good timing.
Yeah, I'm aware. David Harris. I mean, look, is he a little long in the tooth? Yes,
but it's a spin zone. It's a spin zone. It's not supposed to be taken.
Nobody knows what that means, Kyle.
Everybody who listens to the show knows what it means, Ben. I'm sorry that
all three people.
Yes, I'm sorry. Well, that's not accurate. I'm sorry that you don't show up for like 8 weeks in a row and you don't pick up on the new things we're doing. Catch on, Ben. All right? Spin zones are not supposed to be taken seriously. But second spin zone, Deron Lee was once recruited by Art Briles. So stay woke.
Wow, Kyle. Great analysis from our NFL senior correspondent there.
Yes.
All right, next thing that happened this week.
I'm offering the best I can.
I know.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Don't worry. We will break down your new Twitter look there. There's plenty to unwrap
Styling and profiling.
Yeah.
I texted you at like 3:30 my time last night, and I didn't even like remember what I said till this morning, and I put like new Twitter like logo is fi or something.
Yeah, it was something.
What was I
terrible?
Thinking? Yeah, bad choices.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so and then the next story, of course, we just talked about David Harris, released by the New York Jets.
Yep.
And let's lump this together. Just we'll lump the Eric Decker and David Harris thing together here. So they had it on the same day.
I'm okay with it.
Here's the thing. Yes, so I'm okay with it to an extent. There's a few things I have wrong with this. Let's just say 3 things I have wrong with this whole thing. Kyle, let me get to my points here. The first one is obviously timing. David Harris, great lifelong Jet, a guy you hope will be in the Ring of Honor, and you just kind of pissed him off. I mean, I understand it was, Woody Johnson at least acknowledged that it wasn't ideal timing. I think that was at least, that helped the perception. But it's at least, look, I think they realized that, okay, we have Demario Davis now. We at least have a guy who actually performed better than David Harris did last year. We can now move on. David Harris wasn't willing to take a pay cut, but, from the fact that he is talking to Rich Cimini about being the last member of the Mangini era, and then 3 minutes later is cut. Had no idea, and people in the locker room like, wait, what? I think that bugs me. I think the other thing that bugs me is, this was the Eric Decker one, is how they handled it. I think, I understand what they were doing is they were trying to give Eric Decker the courtesy. They told him and his agents in private. Now, this is not confirmed completely, but from my understanding is they told Eric Decker and his agents in private, we are going to cut or trade you for the end of the year, so just know you're probably not going to be in New York this year. And, they're just trying to do them a favor. But, of course, if I'm Eric Decker and Jesse James Decker, I'm going to be like, well, I'd rather pick where I'm going to go. and I don't owe anything to the New York Jets. I mean, they're going to trade me or cut me. So it's like they tell the agent leaks the story to Adam Schefter. Now the Jets don't really have a possibility of trading unless a team wants to secure their rights to Eric Decker. This way that Eric Decker will probably get released, and then then he can decide where he wants to go, whether he wants to go to Minnesota, where he played his college ball, if he wants to go back down to Tennessee, where his wife works. I mean, so that was my understanding, is that the Deckers decided that they're going to use this as to decide where they're going to go play.
Is it bad that I'm more upset about losing Jesse James Decker than I
will miss her tweets.
Well,
I mean, I understand the move. The Jets aren't expected to be good. They have a lot of young receivers. They might as well let them develop. I mean, that's why you have guys like Sharon Peake or Darius Stewart and Chad Hansen are going to get their chances. But a guy like Eric Decker, I thought, was probably the most underrated guy on this team for sure in 2015. By far the best guy on this offense, I thought, in 2015. I would say he was better than Brandon Marshall in 2015. And obviously Brandon Marshall played the number one wide receiver, and he probably would not have had the same impact as he did in 2015 without Brandon Marshall. Not Chris Ivory. Here's why I'll say this, is because Eric Decker, and you saw it when he went down in 2016. Ryan Fitzpatrick went immediately down. I mean, he's a guy that was open every play, every third down, had great hands. I mean, he was just the safety valve. He's the constant. Brandon Marshall was – they obviously played off each other, but I will say that the loss of Eric Decker really hurt last year. I understand why they let him go. It's obviously sad to see, because I was looking forward to having a fun year for him. I thought he would be good for the young quarterbacks, but I think the Jets are in the business of not really winning this year and finding out, hey, can guys like Katie Cannon and Gabe Marks and guys like that make the team and maybe make an impact, and then they can have guys who are going to be an impact when the Jets are a winning team in 2 or 3 years down the line. And my final issue with this, and this is one that can easily be corrected, is if Josh McCown starts, I will have an issue with these moves. If Josh McCown is the starter, I have a big problem with both these moves, because that makes zero sense whatsoever. No, I'm not saying if Josh McCown's starting the first few weeks.
Did you read my article on?
I did not even touch your article. And this is a pretty common take, but I know. And I'm almost done.
I'll send it to you.
You're almost done. You can give your thoughts. But look, if McCown starts the first few weeks, maybe I'm not as pissed. But I'm just saying, it's like, if you're gonna go embrace the youth movement, I love it. Timing's not ideal, and I kind of wish they might have been able to keep the whole we're going to trade Decker thing under wraps, and maybe been able to get a third or something, fourth, something like that, instead of getting the probably either 6th, 7th, or nothing that we're going to get. The only other thing is just Kyle just took over the screen. It's just, if McCown starts, why are you going to start a 38-year-old veteran when you just cut one of the best and underrated receivers in the league? I mean, you're embracing the youth movement. Start a guy like Christian Hackenberg or start a guy like Bryce Petty for the majority of the games this year. Find out if you have a franchise quarterback on this roster. Find out if this is the guy that's going to be the face of your franchise in 2018 and 2019 and hopefully beyond. Because the Jets right now, barring a miracle, barring some great story that nobody really saw coming, the Jets are going to be bad this year. Might as well find out if Christian Hackenberg is going to be the quarterback in 2018, and they don't have to use their probably top pick on a QB, or if they're both terrible, that's okay. If they're both terrible, that's okay, and you use your pick on the QB. And I know Kyle and I got in a debate about this, but now I think this all confirms that the Jets are on more leaning towards my side. It's not necessarily tanking. It's just start the young guys. The Jets recognize they're probably not going to be good until probably 2018, 2019, possibly even 2020. Might as well get guys on the team that are going to be there for that. And really quickly, last thing I wanted to add on this, and I know I've been rambling for a bit here, is these moves signify to me that Todd Bowles. I know you're antsy. We're about you can talk for as long as you want. This move signifies to me that Todd Bowles has some assurance for staying around in 2018.
Yes,
because
definitely.
If he's a guy that is coaching for his job and on a hot seat, and you just cut two of their leaders, not only David Harris, the value they both provided was leading these young guys, and they were good guys in their position, but this signifies to me that the Jets are going all in youth movement. They're going Mike McCagnon's plan. They're doing the full complete rebuild. I like it. We only got to not start McCown and give Matt Forte not that many reps. But I like it. But that should mean that Todd Bowles should either get 2018 or at least show. I think that their bar is at least lower. I think for McCagnon and Johnson to keep Todd Bowles around, it's probably got to be look, we don't want any locker room issues. We want a team that is going to fight and play hard all the time. Maybe a few upsets, show that they're progressing and playing together. There's just a few. Show that you've improved your clock management issues, that the guys really respect you in the locker. I mean, there are going to be other things that I think are going to determine whether Todd Bowles will have a job in 2018 other than wins and losses. All right, Kyle, I've talked for probably 4 minutes, so you have the floor.
All right, so I'm sharing my article with you. I'm sorry for there's bad podcasting, but the people who are on hold and listen to this on iTunes, Ben's currently looking at my article, and I encourage you, shamelessly promoting. Ben, he didn't shout us out at all, so I'll do it. Shameless promote, of course, go follow the Jet Take on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to us, iTunes, Google Play, any other podcatcher you can find us on, and go check out this article at nyjetsfans.com. Link is in my bio at Kyle Fahey NFL on Twitter. But basically, this is what I said. Jets have gone full tank. This is truly the only explanation. Why would you take away a guy like Eric Decker from these young quarterbacks, right? You said it yourself. He's a safety valve. If Ryan Fitzpatrick desperately needed him, which, as we saw last year, he did, Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty, as bad as this is to say, are going to need him even more. So why get rid of him? I'll just start with my overall perspective, and then I'll move on to David Harris. But I think the Jets honestly came into this last 10 total days of OTAs, saw what they had in the quarterback position, and said, "Wow, this isn't good." Reports are saying that Hackenberg was hitting reporters again.
No. Whoa.
That's not.
You're not telling the full story there, Mr. Trump.
Throws one touchdown and then 6 wildly inaccurate passes. That doesn't work in the NFL, man. That doesn't work.
No. That is not what the report was saying. Was that Christian Hackenberg is progressing? And look, we've said this before. Is Christian Hackenberg? No. I mean, might not be the best fit for a West Coast offense that's trying to game manage and stuff. He is a guy that on one snap looks like Peyton Manning and fires over the middle. It's a beautiful throw, shows his arm strength, his pocket presence, reads the defense. And the next play, it's the same type of throw, but it hits the stands. His problem is with accuracy. We don't know about reading defenses that aren't his own team yet. But his big problem is accuracy. So my point is that he definitely has the highest ceiling out of any of these guys. And at least the reports that we've been reading, and look, really, Josh McCown and Bryce Petty has a higher ceiling. Bryce Petty, the 25-year-old,
Bryce Petty has a higher ceiling.
Bryce Petty, the soon-to-be 26-year-old QB who has back issues.
As sad as that is to say, yeah.
And a torn labrum.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're completely wrong there, Kyle. And I'm not trying to patronize you, but I'm being serious. Where that is one of the worst takes I've heard. Bryce Petty does I'm not. Now you could say Bryce Petty has a higher floor than Christian Hackenberg, and I might agree with you. But ceiling, no. Christian Hackenberg is infinitely. Has more potential.
Why? Because of one good year in college?
No, but because of
everything.
Because of all of his physical traits, his size,
he's 1 inch taller and 10 pounds heavier than
his size, his
Bryce
arm
Petty.
strength, what he did show in college.
Bryce Petty has very similar arm strength.
I'm just saying, Kyle. I'm just saying that it's pretty much undisputed. You can put a poll out there on Twitter, and I guarantee you 90% or above will side with me that Hackenberg has higher potential.
90% of people in the world are idiots, Ben. I feel like that's not fair.
And Kyle, you're one of them. So no. I'm kidding.
Oh, got me.
Yeah,
all right. Well, let me continue on. So I think.
All right. But wait. The last thing is just I don't even know what I was talking about. So
yeah. Okay. So
we're out of steam there.
The Jets came into they got out of these 10 OTAs, or they were in the 8th at the time or the 9th, whenever it was. It was towards the end. They said, "Wow, we don't have a lot. So why?" And this is just my conclusion. This is what I'm coming to. Let me talk it out. I think they said, why are we, if we're going to suck and we're pretty sure these guys are nothing, why are we keeping around a guy like Eric Decker when we can be having Quincy Nunwa and Robbie Anderson or Darius Stewart develop and be in bigger roles when Eric Decker's truly only here to help the younger guys? And I'm pretty sure, based off all these reports, these quarterbacks aren't doing well. These guys are what we thought they were, not very good. So I think that's why Eric Decker got cut. And, David Harris, he probably came out and did David Harris things, but I honestly think that was a call for management saying, all right, he didn't take a pay cut, so let's bring in a guy who knows the system, who does a similar job, who did better statistically, and is a good leader also, except cheaper. That's Demario Davis to a T. So they brought in a guy who's going to help Duron Lee, who's going to help Jamal Adams, but he's not going to take away snaps from Duron Lee. it actually makes perfect sense, and it's terrible, unfortunate timing for David Harris. And Let's Talk Jets said I was completely wrong. I don't think he'll get signed, and I kind of feel bad for him. I mean, he might get somewhere with a contender. He might get a contract, but I find it unlikely because he's a liability. He's a good two-down linebacker, but at his age, and if he wasn't willing to take a pay cut, what is he going to be asking for, in free agency? So Demario Davis thing, it makes sense to me. Just sounds like a complete Woody Johnson call. Hey, I want to save money. Ticket sales aren't going to be great, so let's bring in a guy. Let's get rid of Calvin Pryor. Let's get something. Let's get something for nothing, as I said last week. So Demario Davis brings the leadership and, it's a good teacher because he knows the defense. He was in it with Todd Bowles in 2015. So he's going to be able to teach Duron Lee. He's going to be able to teach Jamal Adams, the guys on our future one of them is going to be the play caller in the future. So Jamal Adams, he did it for LSU. And Duron Lee, I don't think he did it.
Yeah, the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, somebody's going to be the leader there. So they brought in Demario Davis to teach them that.
There's going to be different levels. I think you can hope that Darren Lee can control that front seven, and then maybe Jamal Adams controls the secondary. All right, let's go ahead and get some of these callers' opinions on this week and a little more.
It wasn't really done.
Oh, fine. Continue. We're going to bring on our callers in just a second, but Kyle Fahey needs to wrap up. Our official member
official
of the NFL media.
Official NFL reporter deserves his time. So these are the only ways it makes sense to me, because if they were going to cut David Harris and Eric Decker before, why not do it in free agency? And you had Gerald Hodges in your building. You had Dante Hightower in your building. If you planned on cutting David Harris, why didn't you cut him at that time? Let him, be respectful to him. Let him go off in free agency.
Because they didn't have any assurance. Like, that they they probably weren't sold on any. Their insurance probably wasn't. They weren't sold on any other middle linebacker prospect in this draft. There probably wasn't a guy that they valued more than the guys they took. They saw a way that they could trade Demario Davis. They saw Demario Davis, a guy who's been in the system, a guy who's a vocal leader who is okay with losing. He's not. Yeah, he's not amazing. I don't know any misconceptions. I don't think he's the Demario Davis of 2013 or 2014 where he's actually okay.
He's a tad better. But the point is, they brought him.
He was actually solid in 2014. Like he actually. I mean,
for a backup, yes.
No, he was a starting middle linebacker alongside David Harris. The point is they brought him in. He's a guy. What?
I guess technically he's a starter, but he's not getting starter snaps. But just go on.
Yeah, no. Basically, my point is I think I don't see this. I see this as a positive move for the Jets. We said it last week, and I look at it. I struggle with the middle linebacker depth. When you look at it, we're going to need guys like Julian Stanford to step up.
Mm-hmm. That's sad. That's sad.
You're going to need guys, and you're going to hope there's an undrafted gem there, because right now it's Demario Davis, Darren Lee, Bruce Carter, and I don't think I'm missing anybody besides guys like Julian Stanford and underclass guys. The best case scenario would have been, he's a lifelong Jet. He takes the pay cut. He just kind of plays the backup, he's the leader in the locker room, but then he just kind of plays run duty and stuff, and you take him out of passing situations. Anything else you want to add?
Summary is for me.
All right.
Summary is for me. The Jets, they'll always deny the tank. You heard Mike McCagnon, but this is definitely a tank. They are getting rid of their guys who, they're leaders, they're making too much, and they're aging. And they came in, and specifically with David Harris, they replaced them with guys who are a little younger, they're making less, they're leaders, and they know the playbook. And then with Eric Decker, they're just letting the younger guys take snaps. And they brought in Josh McCown for some reason. They severely overpaid for him. Right?
No.
They could go and sign. They can go and sign Colin Kaepernick right now for $2 million. They could.
We can get into why I want to bring in.
That's because of Woody Johnson. We know that. But
no. I would love to have this debate on why the Jets brought in Josh McCown, but we're gonna go ahead and go to the callers. We're gonna come back.
They
put a pin in that.
The young receivers.
No. It's not just that.
I think Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty would ruin it for everybody else. They could really hurt the development of the other guys on this team. Because of where they're
I think that is a fair point. I don't think they'd ruin it, but I think that's a fair point.
They would halt it. Compared to Josh McCown, a veteran who's known to be a leader, who's known to be able to help these younger guys.
All right. We Kyle,
All right, let's go into the call.
We're going to bring on CJ. We're going to talk a little bit about this week's event and some other stuff, and then after CJ, we'll bring it back to the Josh McCown conversation. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring on CJ, who is a co-host of the Jets Factor podcast, good friend of the show, and was on earlier than I was to get to this episode.
Yeah.
But CJ, how you doing, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Ooh,
we're good.
Sounded like Count Dracula. I like that.
CJ is ready to spit some fire, as he always does. Well, CJ, I guess we'll start first. I guess we'll start back with the Darren Lee Leonard Williams situation. Believe me, we're going to get to all the other stuff. It seemed like that was going to be the biggest focal point of this week's episode since it's June. But no, the Jets made plenty of other headlines.
That's the second week in a row you completely got your months wrong.
I know. I'm all over the place. But anyway, CJ, let's talk a little bit about this. Just your thoughts on the situation. Obviously, there's the benefits of Leonard Williams and the cons of Darren Lee. But I'm just curious to get your take on what you thought. Kyle got fun. And your thought on this weekend's event.
Well, you summed it up actually perfectly in the opening statements of tonight's show. Leonard Williams did, in fact, show that he is the undisputed leader of this team. His character on and off the field is one that should never be questioned, and especially when he saw Darren Lee getting himself into a potentially dangerous situation, he removed Darren Lee from the scene, calmed him down, which takes a lot of guts and also great patience and great wisdom to understand that his best friend was about to get himself into a mess of something that's with every camera that is out there. It's just unbelievable the most likely fallout that would have happened from it. So if I were Darren Lee, I definitely would be taking Leonard Williams out to dinner and saying, thank you for saving my ass, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And
strike one, CJ.
No. I can play. Who cares? All right. Well, CJ, next on the docket, as we kind of talked about, the two big moves: releasing David Harris and then soon to be released Eric Decker. And I don't often like to give credit to Manish Mehta, but he was on this one for. He's been saying that the Jets are going to release.
What did he do?
Manish has said since really March.
Blocked. We blocked.
Manish has really said since March that the Jets are going to release, he said, don't be surprised if the Jets release Eric Decker, and he said that for a few, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Almost everybody said that, though. Is that like a...
he had, according to my sources, don't be, whatever he had.
Yeah.
But CJ, your thoughts on obviously David Harris being released and then soon to be released Eric Decker?
Well, for the fact that, I don't want to clutter the phone lines with a lot of profanity this evening, although...
Good call. Go for it, CJ. We don't really care.
Yeah, Ben said screw it, so I'm fine with it.
Well, essentially, I'm going to reiterate what I said on my podcast, which I put out last night. I do invite everyone to go and listen to it, The Jets Factor, on SoundCloud.com. I'm just going to reiterate some statements from that podcast. I feel that personally... The fact that the New York Jets had both David Harris and Eric Decker practice on OTAs, both go speak to the media, and then a couple hours later release a statement that the Jets were releasing David Harris, to me, unfortunately, it's a classless dick move by the New York Jets organization. I question the timing. I question the methodology. I question the motive. I understand that the team is in a rebuild, but there is a right way to do things and there is a wrong way to do things. And I'm sorry, I may be in the minority, but I feel the New York Jets screwed up on this one, and I will call them on this until the day that David Harris is inducted into the Ring of Honor. That being said, we all knew that this was going to be a rebuild. I am totally not against the rebuild. I want to make that explicitly clear. I know that we are being recorded, and I will go on record. I am not against the rebuild.
Watergate.
I am a good. I fully support the rebuild, but I also am a David Harris fan. I think that the smart thing would have been to release David Harris right around the same time that Bruno Giacomini was released, that Darrelle Revis was released, that Nick Mangold was released, that Nick Folk was released, to release him with the veterans, to give him one of two options. One, if he feels like he still has gas in the tank, that he can go and test the unrestricted free agent market and catch on with someone else. Or number two, he could retire, and he could retire with class, and the Jets can honor him with class. The way that they did it on Tuesday, I'm sorry, it's like a slap in the face and a kick in the balls all in one shot.
Oh, painful.
And it's to me as a Jet fan, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the organization. I'm not embarrassed that they cut David Harris because you know what? I was saying last year that he needed to be cut. But the way that it was done, the way that it was handled is wrong. And a lot of people have battled with me on Twitter over the past 2 days saying, I disagree with your take. I think it's exactly what the Jets have done. Again, you're missing the point. I'm not against cutting the player. I'm against the way that it was done. Because have we not learned from previous Jets alumni who refused to step foot into one Jet drive because of the way that this franchise have handled them? Let me rattle off some of the lists. John Riggins, Matt Snell, Emerson Boozer, okay? 3 people who refused to step in the building, okay? 3 renowned names who refused to step in the building because of the way this organization had treated them and had handled their situations. I get it, the NFL is a business. But you know what? Pull your head out of your ass and do it the right way. It's business 101. It's class 101. And we all wonder why the rest of the NFL makes fun of the New York Jets. We all wonder why the circus is back in town. Well, Exhibit A. Just go and replay the presser. Make a go and practice. Make a guy go and practice. Make a guy go and face the media and answer all kinds of questions, and then give him his walking papers and give him a kick in the ass out the door. After he bled for you, after he sweat for you, after he grinded for you. That's David Harris. Now I'm going to turn my sights on Eric Decker. And you really want to piss me off? This is the way to piss me off. You mean to tell me that not one person from Mike McCagnon's entourage, the 50 people that he's got parading him around, making sure that his coffee cup is constantly filled, either that or intravenously drawn into his arm, okay? you mean to tell me that not one of these people could not have sat down with Eric Decker and their representatives and said, hey, look, this is what we're up against. We want to renegotiate your contract. Because Eric Decker is still a valuable asset to this New York Jets football team as a wide receiver. That being said, not only did you pants Eric Decker by telling him we're going to trade you or we're going to release you and leak it to the media, which is just completely boneheaded because now nobody's going to give you squat for him. They're just going to wait till you outright release him because why are they going to trade valuable assets to get something from you that you know in a couple of weeks is going to be unrestricted free agent, that he clears waivers? Okay, so you showed your hand. That's number one, which makes you a fraud. Okay, and number two, you have the audacity to place a phone call to Steve Smith Sr. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Let's release
I have an
Eric
explanation
Decker.
for that.
Let's go sign Steve Smith Sr., who probably hasn't touched a weight in 5 months, is enjoying retirement. You think he's going to pick his ass up his couch to come to Florham Park and join this clown show? Really? After this?
Well,
the past 36 hours, probably closer to 48 hours now, has become very, very difficult to be a New York Jets fan. And we all have Mike McCagnon to thank. And also another thing that's blatantly clear, that Todd Bowles and Mike McCagnon are nowhere near on the same page. Nowhere. I understand the point of tanking. I understand the point. You want to strip it down to the bare bones and you want to rebuild. You know what? I'm happy that they're doing it this way. Do it the right way. Do it with some class. Do it with some tact. They just find numerous ways to make mistake after mistake after mistake to just continue to have the rest of the NFL laugh at us. And then us as Jet fans that have been suffering for as long as we can remember, okay, those of us who weren't alive when the Jets won a world championship with Joe Namath, we're starving for getting past that AFC title game. Okay? We're starving for that opportunity to play for a NFL championship. And you know what? We just keep making mistakes after mistake after mistake after mistake. Leon Hess may as well just still on the team. Rich Kotite may as well just still be coaching this team. This is how pathetic and how ridiculous the regime is making us look. Now, there are people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm not disagreeing. Again, let me make myself clear. I'm not disagreeing with the rebuild because this was something that needed to be done. Personally, it was 3 years overdue. All right? But do it the right way. Do it with some class. Do it with some taste. Can you? Is that at all innately possible? Or just because we're all New York Jet fans that we all have to be as douchey as the organization?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my explanation for this.
Yeah, lots to unpack there, but Kyle, you go first, man.
I agree with a lot of your points. Yeah, we're definitely clipping that out and making that a preview for the episode. I agree with you on a lot of the points. I think it was poor timing. But I think, like I was saying earlier, this came down to a pure business decision. I think the Jets got done with OTAs. They said, listen, we got a lot of really young talent, and they don't think it's a good reason to keep Eric Decker around to help these young QBs because they don't think they can help, and they don't think it's a good reason to keep David Harris around just because he's a good leader, and they're going full tank. They don't want to win games. I think that's clear at this point because there's no other explanation to cut these guys at the worst possible time and the worst possible way, lie on the stand, not under oath or anything, but lie in front of the media, knowing damn well you're going to get crucified within the next 30 minutes. I think
so then
they're
go out
going
and have
full
Curtis Painter
tank
be
right
your
now.
Quarterback.
I mean,
if you're going to lay down, if you're going to go 0-16, let's just go full tank mode. Hell, let's ask Tim Tebow to come back from SEC broadcasting.
He hit it. He went to DEFCON 1. We're here. We've arrived.
Actually, he's doing fairly well.
Okay.
Single A.
I agree with CJ. CJ, we are on the same wavelength. This is why you start Christian Hackenberg. What is the downside to starting Christian Hackenberg here?
Hurting the development
Absolutely
of the guys
not.
around him.
Here's why. Kyle. Here's what you do. Is if you start him, the development of the wide receivers isn't going to be impacted as much as you're saying it is. And let's be honest, the development of the wide receivers takes a backseat to finding out who the Jets quarterback is. The Jets start Christian Hackenberg. You may disagree with me. You start him. If he is good, and I've probably said this 1,000 times, if he is good, and that doesn't mean the Jets have to win a lot of games, but if he at least shows promise and shows potential, he is your quarterback for 2018 and hopefully beyond. And you can use that top pick on another position, a position to help out the rest of your team and build this culture. If he is terrible, if he is Curtis Painter, as CJ says, hold on, if he is Curtis Painter, as CJ just said, okay, great. We know he's not our quarterback of the future. And you go and draft a quarterback with your inevitable top spot. Instead of starting a guy like Josh McCown, who might end up doing the worst thing that the Jets could do right now and win 4 or 5 games. And now we're sitting at spot number 9, and we're not going to be in the position to draft a quarterback unless we trade assets and trade up. This is the way to go, is start Bryce Petty or start Christian Hackenberg, and preferably Hackenberg because he's a guy we have not seen whatsoever. So that is why you need to leave this season knowing what you have on this depth chart. So if he's Curtis Painter, or if he's, he's not going to be, but if he's Russell Wilson, he doesn't do nothing similar with him. But if he's anywhere between there, it doesn't matter. You at least need to know what he is. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah. All right, here's my take. 1, if you think a terrible quarterback like Christian Hackenberg will be, I'm just saying that right now. That's my take. I'm not changing it. He goes out there and he just can't get the ball to guys like he has shown in college. He's shown in preseason. He's showing it in OTAs. Enough for the Jets, facility, everybody in charge there, everybody making big decisions say, why are we keeping Eric Decker? We don't think it's going to make a difference. Why are we keeping David Harris? We don't think it's going to make a difference. Why don't we go ahead and let the younger guys go ahead and get reps? All right, we're going to have to bring in somebody who's going to teach the young guys on defense, so let's go trade for Demario Davis. I think the Jets think they have absolutely nothing at the quarterback position, and they're just going to throw in Josh McCown probably for the first 8 weeks. I hope
it's not 8 weeks. I do not want to watch that.
What do you think matters more, putting in Christian Hackenberg and knowing the inevitable? Because I'm pretty sure the Jets have already came to that conclusion. This is This is just my perspective.
Kyle, you can't make that the conclusion. You're not even.
Well, what else explains it then, Ben? What else explains these stupid moves, these classless moves? Something the Jets they've never done this.
Kyle, that argues my point though. I don't think why would you do all those moves and then start a 38-year-old quarterback like Josh McCown? A 38-year-old quarterback who,
why would you make all those moves and start Christian Hackenberg? Because you want good players around him, right? You want an Eric Decker around him. You don't want Quincy Newant your number one.
No, Kyle. You're taking this the wrong way. The reason the Jets are doing this is because they know they're not going to win that much this year. They know that they're just in the business of finding out if they have good players. So why would you start a 38-year-old quarterback? Kyle, the receivers will continue to develop. Kyle, Quincy Newant and Robbie Anderson developed under Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's arguably the worst quarterback in the league last year.
He's better than Christian Hackenberg.
Christian Hackenberg might be terrible, Kyle. He might not be. He might surprise us all. He's most likely going to be terrible. But if he's terrible, you at least know. But Kyle, you need to do that. The Jets are in the business of not winning. So how badly do you think they're going to hurt? This is going to hurt the Jets wide receivers. I mean, they can still practice with Josh McCown. I don't see you're acting like Josh McCown is this great established veteran quarterback who's going to really help the young receiver. He's a terrible quarterback, Kyle. It's not the reason Josh McCown is being put ahead of Christian
Hackenberg.
He might get us 4 wins, but Kyle, he's not. Josh McCown is maybe a D- quarterback, F+, right? And Christian Hackenberg is unknown. We're assuming the worst, but Christian Hackenberg might be a D. Who knows? But Kyle, all we know is that
Josh McCown wouldn't help.
The development of the wide receivers it takes a backseat to the finding out who the Jets quarterback is.
All right. So what about also the development of Wesley Johnson? First full year as a starter. Christian Hackenberg, somebody who's not experienced.
Kyle, he puts the ball between his legs and he snaps it and blocks. I don't think he gives a crap whose hands are under his balls. Okay. Kyle.
That's problematic.
I'm being serious. It does not matter to Wesley Johnson if the guy is 38 or 23. It has no impact on him. If anything, he'd rather have some skittish quarterback.
Why did they get rid of Eric Decker?
Because Kyle, to find out who the young receivers are. So guys like Sharon Peake and Katie Cannon and Ardarius Stewart and Chad Hansen get their opportunity to be.
Okay, but you can't have it both ways, though, Ben.
Kyle, it is one way. It is a one-way street.
No.
Kyle,
you can't say I want to develop everybody else on the team and then say, we're going to throw Christian Hackenberg to do that.
Kyle, listen to yourself. You're the one who's trying to have it both ways. The Jets are in the business of finding young, talented guys so that when they are good in 2 or 3 years, hopefully, the guys who are on the team right now can be contributing. Eric Decker won't be good and won't be on the team, maybe not even the league in 3 years. Okay? I mean, he might be still in the league, but he's not going to be on this team in 3 years. Okay? Kyle. I'm not trying to have it both ways. The Jets are just finding out. This is a season. Look at this. I look at this season, barring something amazing happens. I look at this season as a 16-game preseason. Find out who are your talented players. Go into next year. Go into the draft knowing what you need to adjust. Sure, 20 games. I don't care. I was just saying 16-game. Regular season is a preseason. Mm-hmm. CJ, your thoughts on this debate here?
Well, I could tell you one thing. They wasted $6 million on bringing in trash bag McCown. That's the first thing, when you could have just probably signed Austin Davis for $750,000. I can tell you that was a mistake. And, I do have to say that this whole mantra with, we're going to bring in veteran players to be mentors to the young guys, that's just completely overrated as well, too. I mean, how many mentors do we need? We have position coaches for that.
Well, obviously the coaches have shown they can do nothing based off the last 2 years.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's no other reason to bring in Josh McCown. Like I said earlier, we severely overpaid for Josh McCown. The Jets, for some reason, wanted this dude back. He does have a history of developing players. I don't care what people say. You saw what he did for Alshon Jeffrey in Chicago. Alshon Jeffrey went on a whole new level when they went on that little run. I don't know what it was, but they clicked. All right? So if you're starting Christian Hackenberg, like you said.
So one guy who's supremely talented makes Josh McCown a great wide receiver.
He was struggling. He was struggling in his first part of his
career.
He
was not struggling, Kyle.
He was struggling.
He was not struggling. Where did you get that stat?
Check the stats. That's
okay. First of all, Kyle. First of all, can we just say you're not even taking into account that he was a rookie wide receiver who was getting acclimated to his first couple of games. Jay Cutler came and he had his best season with Jay Cutler, and now he's in Philadelphia, and he'll have a great. He is a fantastic talent.
Josh
so you
McCown,
can't.
After Josh
so you're giving the reason Alshon Jeffrey is a great receiver is because Josh McCown played with him. That's basically what you're saying, right?
I think he definitely helped.
How much do you think he helped though? On if you had to put it in percentage, how much did McCown contribute to Alshon Jeffrey becoming a top?
Who do you think's the better person?
It can't be enough to rather start him over. What?
Oh, okay. So who do you think's the better person to talk to in the locker room, Jay Cutler or Josh McCown? Hey, I'm having trouble learning the playbook, man. Can you help me out? Are you gonna go ask Josh McCown that, or are you gonna ask Jay Cutler?
Probably not Butt Cutler. No, I think we'll
exactly.
go.
So he's the guy in the locker room. He's a veteran. People like him.
Walking around with bare butt.
No matter who you say. Jets fans were roasting him on Twitter, right? And you see Kyle Long come out and supporting this dude, who was also in his second year. He wasn't doing very well. I don't think Josh McCown helped him a lot as an offensive lineman, but he defended this dude.
This is a different conversation, Kyle, because Josh McCown is still in the locker room. And this actually plays into why the Jets brought in Josh McCown, and you were the one
to help the younger guys on the team. So if you're saying we're going to start Christian Hackenberg,
Kyle,
you want reliable guys.
Kyle, give me your plan for this season. How are you dividing the reps, or how are you dividing the game?
And training camp?
No. All right, sure. Go give training camp, and then what is your plan for this season? Because you are the one who just said you want to have it both ways. You're the one who wants to have it both ways. You want to have all these young guys, and then you want to start Josh McCown. I understand your point. Your point is that you think. So Kyle, tell me if I got this right. You think that Christian Hackenberg is already known to be a terrible quarterback, despite the fact he's played no meaningful NFL snaps, and you're probably right. Yes. And so you think starting a guy, a career backup who's been terrible, Josh McCown, will supremely impact the development of these young wide receivers, and that is why you start Josh McCown and sacrifice the possibility of maybe winning a few games. And now and if you win a few games, now you're not going to get your young quarterback. You're going to do that, and you're not going to find out what Christian Hackenberg is. That's what you want to do. If you were Todd Bowles right now, if you're the head coach of the New York Jets, that is your winning strategy right there. Really, Kyle?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
I think the Jets have seen enough of Christian Hackenberg already. There's no other explanation. There's no other explanation for getting rid of his number one target, the number one hands guy on the team. Quincy Newell had
actually, you know what? His number one target is probably going to be Quincy Newell.
But game, we talking about practice.
Practice shows a lot, Ben. Practice shows a lot.
I can't believe we had that soundbite ready. It was just for that moment right there, Kyle, that you just said.
Practice means a lot, Ben.
Kyle, I'm not denying that he might.
Listen to his opinion.
Dude, he might be terrible. I'm just saying that you can't know for sure until he plays.
You admitted that he's going to be terrible, Ben.
Explain this to me. How do guys? I understand this is a different topic, but it's in the same wavelength.
First of all, I'm not saying it's my strategy. I'm just saying that's what the Jets are going with.
No, that is not what the Jets are going with, and these moves made it clear. Hold on, we're going to talk about your strategy in a second. But so if you're saying that Christian Hackenberg, there's no way that he can be good, and you're not even implying, you're not even factoring in the season he spent on the bench and what he could have learned, and he's definitely shown flashes. Hold on. So how do guys?
Because he didn't want to run anything. Because Chan Gailey was going to get fired. So don't even say the 1 year on the bench helped anything. Ben, shut up for a second.
It did. No,
how are you going to say it helped anything if they didn't even let him learn the playbook?
This is a child. Kyle, you can't just say shut up.
You keep interrupting me though.
I will give you a chance to speak. The one thing I'm going to say, how can you say?
You've been talking for like 30 minutes.
You have been talking for 30 minutes as well. It's called a discussion.
We haven't even been on for 60 minutes.
Look at this, Kyle. Kyle, just calm down, buddy. We're talking about 22 sweaty guys throwing a leather football. Like it's okay. This is not life or death. Let's just talk about this.
It is life.
How can guys? This is a question I've always wondered, and this is why I think that the Jets need to at least see what Christian Hackenberg is like against defenses that aren't the Jets. Is how can guys like that go undrafted or go to D3 schools or just are nobodies on teams and then come to the NFL and they're amazing, right? How does that happen?
Because they're not quarterbacks.
No.
That's why.
Tom Brady, really? Like you're Dak Prescott, you're going to go. You could go
6th-round pick who only got in because of an injury, and he
Drew
was the last
Brees. I mean, Kyle, you could go to a bunch of top quarterbacks were not touted as these amazing guys or went to D3 schools. That's unrelated, Kyle. That is unrelated. That is unrelated. Dak Prescott was good in college, but my point was that he got overlooked. My point is how do guys like that? You should be able to say, oh, well, he wasn't the best in college, so how is he going to be the best in the NFL? Right? You should look. Okay. That's a direct variation, but sometimes that does not work like that. Kyle, it's not the same topic, but it's a similar topic that you are not accounting for growth. You are not accounting for what happens when they're in an environment when they're playing this team. Christian Hackenberg has potential. Every reporter and every player will show you that he has made some throws that have been, like, amazing, and you've seen throws that have been terrible. You at least have to give him the chance. And you're probably right. He's probably going to be terrible. I'm not saying that I think Christian Hackenberg is going to be amazing. I'm just saying you have to at least see that. And Kyle, since you wanted the floor so badly, here you go, and then CJ, you can give your take on this. Then we're gonna.
I just want to say, if I was, because you asked my plan. I'm first. I just want to clarify. This wouldn't be my plan. This is just what I'm piecing together for the Jets move that they made. Because honestly, they don't make sense unless I saw it like this, at least in my mind. But my plan would be to start Bryce Petty because I feel like I just think he's more talented than Christian Hackenberg, and I think he has a better chance of succeeding. That's just my opinion. That will be a time for another discussion.
Based on what?
Just leave it for another discussion. Riddle me this.
Nothing.
Riddle me this. If the Jets have faith in Christian Hackenberg, why would you throw out your B team to help him when you know that he isn't doing too well? Why would you get rid of your number one guy? Why would you get rid of your safety valve? That makes no sense to me. And then why would you severely overplay for Josh McCown if you didn't have a purpose for this dude? It just doesn't add up unless the Jets think that they don't have a lot in Christian Hackenberg or Bryce Petty. I'm not saying they won't play this year, but I'm saying that, at least through my perspective, with the moves they made, the Jets are doing the least amount to win, but the most to progress their players. They brought in a cheaper version of David Harris to teach the guys on defense. They overpaid for Josh McCown, but they brought in a veteran who's going to progress the guys on offense. And I don't think they would have brought him in if they thought they had something in Christian Hackenberg. I don't think they would have let go of their number one receiver, their best hands guy. Definitely our best receiver on the team, a guy who's going to run Chris routes, who's going to be exactly where the quarterback needs to throw it, a guy who's not going to drop the ball, a guy who's, he's not old yet, but he's not young, he's middle-aged, he's not making in a large amount of money. It didn't add up to just let him go and then say, we're either going to release him or trade him. This plan wasn't put together over time. This plan was based on the last 2 weeks. That's what it was. Otherwise, they would have let Eric Decker go. They would have let David Harris go. They would have been respectful because they did it with Brick. They did it with Reeves. They did it with Marshall. They did it with Mangold. They did it with everybody else except these guys. These guys were in their plans for this year. The Jets saw what they had at OTAs. They didn't like it. They said, screw it. We don't need Decker because we'd rather progress these young guys. We'll throw somebody else in. And David Harris, he was just a victim of the cap.
All right, I want to get CJ's take on this. There's quite a few things there that I could give my counter argument there for, but I see we haven't heard from CJ in a bit. So CJ, your thoughts on this intense debate?
Well, let's put it like this. In regards to Christian Hackenberg, I want to see him take the field, and I want to see him play on the live bullets. I don't want to see him against the practice squad. I don't want to see him in practice. I don't want to see him in training camp. I want to see how he progresses under a pass rush. I want to see how he progresses in reading defenses. It's definitely going to be a rough time. But this year is going to be the year that, like you said, your 16 preseason games, and that's exactly what we're going to have. And I think it would be in the best interest of the Jets that, great, if you're going to tank, that's fine. But you know what? Again, give your younger players a chance to develop, see what they can do. Just don't go out there and lose by 40. I'm not saying go out there and have like a quota that you're going to lose by.
We will.
But go out there and just, play the best that you can, see exactly what you have in-house so you know going forward what positions of need you still continue to draft, which pretty much we already know we need almost everything. But a wide receiver core is actually very deep. The reason why I would have liked to see Eric Decker stick around again is because having that veteran presence, putting him out there, he's going to draw a lot of attention, which means it's going to open a lot of holes for the younger guys to be able to progress, because then once the younger guys start making catches, then they have to start paying attention to them, and you can't cover everybody. You understand? So now it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Quincy Enunwa, because although he stepped up big time last year, he's going to need to step up even more. Same thing with Robbie Anderson. Same thing for Jalen Marshall if he ends up making the team. Same thing for Sharon Peak. I want to see Sharon Peak step up because you know what? I love that kid. That kid reminds me of Brandon Marshall 2.0 without all the baggage. Okay, and if he could come even 50% of what Brandon Marshall can accomplish, let me tell you something. Jerome Peak is going to be a stud. He is going to be a stud.
I agree with CJ there on the Jerome Peak and Kyle.
I agree with CJ.
Kyle, are you kidding me? I mean, it was. Now, none of us were in the locker room, but by all accounts, Brandon Marshall was an issue in the locker room this past year. His feuds with Sheldon, his
he didn't stab
relentless
in the
campaigning
past 2
for
years,
Fitzpatrick.
So that's an
is
improvement.
What?
He didn't stab anybody in the past 2 years, so that's an improvement from previous Brandon Marshall. All right, I will take.
Let's joke about his mental health. Great joke there, Kyle.
Yep.
But no, look, I think Brandon Marshall has some baggage.
I know he's like changing everything. Like, good for him. I like Brandon Marshall. I like what he's doing. You stab somebody, don't say that's mental health. You got mad and you wanted to kill somebody. Sorry.
I'm not going to even entertain this debate here, Kyle, because I think you need to look up a little bit more about mental health research there. But we're talking about the Jets, and let's not go that deep there, Kyle. But I think you need to check your books. But CJ, I agree with you. I think, look, and really quickly, because we've got to get some other callers, I think to end your call with us on a positive note, I think now one of our listeners put it best, and let me see if I can at least find it. There it is. We put out the tweet, or actually Kyle put out the tweet that the NFL posted, young QB, young defense, young coach, and they were talking about the Rams. And Kyle said, the Jets have all of these, but you murder us, _ they hate us. And I think you were partly kidding. But then
nope.
Dan Valenza at DVNIEL_George23 said, and I agree with him, and I'll paraphrase his tweet a bit because it was a tweet so shortened, but the Jets have the best safety to come out of college in the last 10 years, which is a little debatable, but one of the best safeties, at least one of the best safety prospects, a top 5 defensive line, at least on paper, a young ascending O-line, definitely, and a young wide receiver room, but continue to slander. I mean, the Jets have their leader for on defensive line, as you said, with Leonard Williams. I think definitely with Jamal Adams, that's going to be a big culture change. I mean, Marcus May, we're going to hope he can be a solid guy. You look at the corners. I mean, there are a lot of young players there that haven't really gotten a full shake, like Justin Burris, Darryl Roberts, Marcus Williams, and then you can say Morris Claiborne, when healthy, hasn't really had the full thing. You have your young guy like Darren Lee. So the defense has a lot of pieces, and Kevin Green coming in and working with Jordan Jenkins, who I expect to take the next step. Pass rushers like Dylan Donahue and Lorenzo Malden. Now, am I wearing a little bit of green goggles here? Yes, but you also have guys like defensive tackle Deion Simon, there's a lot of young pieces. This defense, if it was on any other sort of competent offense, I mean, the Jets would have. This defense is really good.
Would be a good team.
Yeah, for sure. This defense is good enough. Now the offense has its own issues, but
we said it in previous episodes. I mean, we're a quarterback away. We honestly are.
We are one. I'll put it that way. We are one good, really good Andrew Luck quarterback away from at least being
Josh Allen. I'm comparing him to Andrew Luck.
I mean, because if teams like the Colts can go from 1-15 to I think they made the playoffs Andrew Luck's rookie year. I mean, with way worse talent. The Jets have a lot of talent on this team. It's just have they been able to put it together? And then another guy responded, and I agree. It was at KHOMANN 23 Coman. I don't know. The Jets will probably have a top 3 pick next year and $80 million in cap space. Yep. Grab some vets and we'll be fine in a year or two. I agree with that. I mean, the Jets have a brightish future, but that is why you strip it down. You find out what Hackenberg is. And if he's terrible, Kyle, you're not going to hurt the wide receiver development that much. That is a myth.
I think you will.
You can look at the numbers. And we could talk about why the Jets brought him account and all that sort of stuff. But I agree that I think the Jets have a bright future. CJ, last little thing here. Just I know I haven't really asked you a concrete question this entire time. It's been kind of open-ended. And I guess we'll end it like we started it. I'm giving him some freedoms. I love CJ's rants, so I don't want to.
His rants are great.
I don't want to pin him down into one sort of topic here. But CJ, I mean, your thoughts on this Jets future? I mean. I guess I'll give you somewhat of a question or at least some guidance. Do you think Mike McCarthy and Todd Bowles are the ones to lead this? I mean, because you look at that, the Jets do have a lot of talent. I mean, you look at teams like you can look at teams like the Lions or something like that. It's like who are supposedly much better than, but it's like they're Matthew Stafford away from being a pretty terrible team. The Jets have talent.
Matthew Stafford's a free agent next year, and I just want to make that clear.
Okay, but I mean the defense on this Jets team is very talented, and on offense, I mean you have some pieces with that O-line and the wide receivers. I'm excited to see what Austin Seferian-Jenkins with the lost weight. And
yeah,
I mean there are pieces here. So what are your thoughts on this Jets future in 2017, but not just that, but in 2018 and beyond?
I really think, in honest opinion, I think the Jets are going to be a team on the rise. I really do. I think that right now what they need to do is they need to find their way. They need to find identity. And I think right now with all of the scatterbrained moves and, different clickbait articles that are out there, and for a lot of, no, I'm not referring to your stuff. You stop it now. You behave yourself over there now. But I do sincerely believe that the Jets are a team on the rise. Now, a lot of the fan base is angry for everything that has transpired within the last 48 hours. The one thing that will turn this around is if these Jets take the field this year and they are extremely competitive and they really put up a fight and they really put on a good show and they really show that this team has a ton of potential. Now, the second part of your question was about McCagnon and Bolts. Do I think that these two are the men to bring it all together? Truthfully, right now, until I see more, the answer is going to be no. But that could change. I've been proven wrong before. Okay? I want to see how Todd Bolts progresses. I want to see if he can learn from his mistakes from last year. I want to see if he can get control of that locker room. I want to see discipline playing football. I want to see these coaches putting players in the best possible position to succeed. And again, I want to see a competitive product on the field. And when I see that, then maybe my theory will change. But until then, for right now, I don't have confidence in Todd Bowles. I don't have confidence in Mike McCagnon. Although McCagnon has drafted some good players, I still want to see the coaching staff be able to cook the meal. So, Bill Parcells had once said, if you're going to expect me to cook the meal, at least let me buy the groceries. Well,
is that
Mike McCagnon went to instead of going to Food Emporium, or Publix down here in the South.
Yeah.
Went to Save-A-Lot.
I'm working there next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Bagger and NFL writer. I'm a man of many talents.
Hey, that's the path of Kurt Warner right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. Set me up.
Hot take right there.
Ooh, spin zone.
Based off your photo, Kyle, based off your Twitter photo, you might be the next Kurt Warner right there.
CFL, watch out.
Right.
Well, CJ, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I always personally love it when you call in and I'm here. I thoroughly enjoy your angry rants and some of these positive ones like this one. Again, you are a co-host at the Jets Factor podcast. Why don't you go ahead and give out your information and the show's information so our listeners can go ahead and give you guys a listen and a follow.
Well, first off, I want to thank you guys again for having me on tonight. The Jet Factor podcast is on SoundCloud.com. We are also on thegrowingtruth.net. We are on iTunes. We're on Google Play. You can follow the show on Twitter at CNC Jets Factor. You can follow my partner in crime at CS Sardinas. You can follow me at JetsFan0523. Shoot the show an email, thejetsfactor@gmail.com. We love listener feedback. We love listener appreciation. If you think we're great, let us know. If you think we suck, good, tell us why we suck, and how we can make the show better. But most of all, I do want to say today is my 4-year anniversary married to my beautiful wife, Cindy Ray DeSimone. Honey, I love you, and thank you so much for all the time that we have spent together. You have given me 4 of the best years of my life, blessed us with a beautiful son, and if I had my opportunity to do it all over again, I would. So
that's
good.
That's awesome stuff. I think that's
I'll
the first
probably
wedding.
regret my marriage.
I think that's the first wedding anniversary shout out we've gotten on the show, and that's awesome. Congratulations to you and your wife. Congratulations to you and your wife, and hopefully you don't raise your son as a Jets fan. It's a very painful life that we all live here. But
I'm pretty sure it's child abuse, honestly.
So we are driven by pain, bound by loyalty, but we are Jets.
I like it, CJ. Thank you as always, and hope to hear from you again.
All right, thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
You too. That was CJ from the Jets Factor podcast. Great call as always. That was a long one, as Kyle and I got into a bit of a debate there. Really quickly, when we got 3 calls we got to get to.
That was such a golf narration right there. Kyle and I got into a bit of a debate there.
You done?
Nope.
Never.
Started.
45 more minutes of this.
Bad for listeners.
Great for Kyle and
Yep.
only him. Really quickly, I want to talk about your take on, because you gave a bit there at the end of that debate, and I just realized that, I mean, we got to keep going with the show.
I'm a complete idiot.
No, I wanted to give CJ a chance to talk. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about your view on why the Jets brought him account, and I mean, earlier you kind of contradicted yourself earlier, like, why didn't you bring in Colin Kaepernick? And look, whether you like Colin Kaepernick's politics or disagree with them, I think there is definitely
He's a good player.
No. First of all, I think he should have a job. I think he should have a job in this NFL.
If Adrian Peterson's in the league, you know.
If you're going to defend wife beaters and dog abusers and murderers and rapists, like, no,
we
Colin
signed
Kaepernick,
at least
and you might agree with his politics, and I don't want to get too political here, and I don't have many problems with how he did it.
I don't
many
like the
do.
knee, but I'm getting over it.
You know, it's a song, and you know, I understand the meaning and the significance behind it, but I'm just saying.
I don't think the millions of people that have died for it would.
I will say he did. I mean, at the very least, he brought attention to. I mean, hopefully it was not just himself.
He definitely got his point across.
Yeah. So, anyways, we don't want to get too political because we generally.
My problem was, though, I'll just say, when when free agency came out and he said, "Oh, I won't do it anymore," and then when he was asked who he's voting for, he said he wouldn't even vote. So you're not even going to try. That's kind of like myself. I know a thing or two about contradicting. Colin Kaepernick is pretty good at it. So,
I mean, I understand this point, but we don't have to talk about it.
No,
I mean, I don't personally.
Remember, we're two white kids. So.
Well, like, I agree with what he did. I don't agree with his point on the election, but I think that I understand.
Well,
Kyle, we all know, living up here in my giant blue bubble.
Yep.
And you down in your little.
You snowflakes.
Aren't you guys a snowflake? I don't even know. Anyway, back to football. But the point is whether or not you, and I think you should absolutely have a job in this league. I don't think it should be with the Jets though, and obviously I think he's talented, and he would be the best, and he would be the best quarterback on the roster.
For our
probably.
offense, he would be good for our offense, man.
No, I mean, look, the Jets, and you can talk about all the off-field issues you want, and they're not issues. They're at least off-field. He at least brings. I mean, TJ was talking about how the Jets have a circus. I mean, I don't think Colin Kaepernick would bring a circus, but he at least brings media attention with him.
Ooh,
you have to acknowledge that. I'm not saying he's a circus. I'm just saying he at least brings media attention. That is an accurate statement. My point was, and I said this when the Jets signed him, I think the reason the Jets signed McCown, and I think they overpaid for him a bit, is because they wanted somebody who was, yes, the veteran quarterback, the guy who's going to teach their young guy. I mean, he's not. How much is he going to teach him? I mean, you know, some guys are better coaches than they are players. Some guys are better coaches than they are players, and he's an approachable guy. He's not going to be. And you thought Fitz was going to be like this, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to complain about his reps. And you know, he's going to be, you know, he's going to be a good guy in the locker room. But they wanted a guy that wouldn't have this pressure to be on the bench that the Jets would be calling for. If you bring in a guy like RG3 or Colin Kaepernick, if you're going to go ahead and start Christian Hackenberg and he's terrible, it's like there's going to be pressure. Put RG3 out there, put Colin Kaepernick. It's just Josh McCown is a veteran. He is a guy that is just, in the worst case scenario, has to play a few games. But he's a guy that is unsexy, and you know it's not like Todd Bowles or Mike McCarthy. No,
Ben.
I'm not insulting his looks. I'm saying
you're a pretty boy. You can go and judge everybody, huh?
Kyle, based off your Twitter header and your Twitter photo, I think. You okay? Wow, dropping the F-bomb. And I think you should look at your Twitter header and your profile picture and then redefine.
Hey, actions count more, Ben.
But I think that look, I think that Todd Bowles and Mike McCarthy don't think that Josh McCown's this amazing quarterback. I think it's pretty obvious. They know what he is. They brought him in there to be the veteran leader in the locker room. Maybe he has to play a few games, but he's going to be a guy that's not going to have much pressure to get on the field. It's going to allow the young quarterbacks to get their time. That was my point. You're saying that the opposite, that the Jets. I don't even understand what your point was, that the Jets brought him in, and like I also agree that I think he will be helpful for some of these young wide receivers to develop, but they can get that in practice. You know, that like I know we talk about practice and game, and your whole thing on Christian Hackenberg, but as far as developing wide receivers, I mean the difference between Christian Hackenberg and Josh McCown isn't going to be so much where where the wide receivers are just their development is completely being stalled. I mean, you think about how Robbie Anderson and Quincy Nunez developed. It's like
but they did that with Robbie Anderson did that with Bryce Petty. Quincy Nunez did it with Bryce Petty and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Petty. Bryce Petty was terrible. Bryce Petty was a really... We haven't seen Christian Hackenberg, so you can't even say that, Kyle.
Dude, come on.
You saw him in the 4th preseason game of his rookie year.
I did the evaluation out of college. We watched preseason. We've
Kyle,
seen the OTA
we go
report.
back to it. College does not mean everything. How do you explain these guys who come from D3 schools? Okay, anyways, we're gonna go to the next caller tonight. I believe it's Rumi.
You say Tom Brady like you didn't have Bill Belichick. Drew Brees. I threw Tom Brady out there. Just saying, as a guy, I'm just throwing out. Obviously, these guys were the right time, right place, whatever. I'm just saying, but I'm throwing out guys who slipped through the cracks. And this is not the right time or the right place.
Your evaluation is not the end all be all because you thought that I can't even. Garrett Grayson was the next Peyton Manning on air, recorded on Let's Talk Jets. So your QB evaluations can go.
What about my QBs this year, Ben? Patrick Mahomes.
QB evaluations.
Had them as my. You didn't even know who Patrick Mahomes was.
In September, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think
because you don't do any evaluations.
No, because I wasn't watching
you read a couple
Texas
NFL
Tech football.
Articles and no, I actually watch film. I don't watch Texas Tech. I hate that type of offense. I like defenses. You know that. Because you don't do any evaluations. You read a couple NFL articles and you know you saw it like a year in advance. And you're like, oh yeah, Deshaun Kaiser. I love him, and he's stuck.
I'm still a big fan of Deshaun Kaiser. I did a whole film breakdown, Kyle. I don't even know what you're talking about. I did more of
like 12 plays.
No,
take account.
Really? Want to bet, Kyle? I posted easily like 35. I posted every single throw he had in the game against Michigan State, and I would have done more. But again,
I'll say it's under 20.
Wrong, because I tried to put him in the memories.
Find the thread.
It's a long time. I think I'll probably find it. We'll find it later. But I'm above 20 for sure. Kyle, I mean, look. I did my film breakdown. I will admit that you were on the draft, but yes, we are off topic. And
all right, let's bring on our next caller.
Yeah, let's go to Rumi here. And we have.
Sorry for those who are on hold. Rumi does have to go. She requested this before the show, so we will have you guys on. We still got another 45 minutes. Don't worry. Your takes. Just write your takes down if you're gonna forget them, but I'm sure they're fire and they're permanently like burned into your memory.
Yeah, so, all right, so Rumi, welcome to the show. Haven't talked. Yes, we haven't had you on the show in a while, at least while I'm here.
I know it's been a while. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on and doing me a big favor. It's been just crazy lately.
Hey, any time to get you on the show.
I don't know, Kyle. I know you're a Rosen hater, so.
He is the next Jay Cutler, and I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh my gosh! Well, talking about the news about the Harris and Decker though, I was so upset. I mean, you literally yelled out WTF out loud. I mean, seriously, people like staring at me. I don't care. I was so mad because the timing of it and everything. It's like we're not getting any value for releasing him this late. You should do this way back before the draft, or sign someone for the free agency. Don't you agree? I mean, it was insane. I was just upset. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. It's almost like, they don't want good players. They want to lose, right?
That's what everyone's saying. They're going to tank, right, to get Darnold or Rosen.
No, Josh Allen. Don't throw Rosen into this.
I don't
know. Get me mad.
But the thing is, and then everyone's saying that we're going to be 0-16. We're not going to be the worst team in the NFL. No, I don't think so. We're not going to have, no wins. There's plenty other teams are worse situation than us, like the Rams. Their quarterback situation is worse than ours, okay? If Jared Goff gets hurt, they got this third-string quarterback who they never played, and he got bumped up to the second string. What's his name, Mannion or something like that?
Sean Mannion?
Oh, Oregon State, go Beavs!
Yes, Oregon State.
I have his jersey.
Coming out of the draft.
I knew that was your guy, right, Ben?
I'm not even a huge Oregon State fan. Just my friend has season tickets.
No, he has season tickets.
But I mean, that guy hasn't even played. At least Petty has experience.
I'll say this: Mannion is better than a lot of people give him credit for. I mean, Mannion was pretty terrible in college at times, but I mean, pro style offense came out, had a few good games. I definitely thought he would. I mean,
that was the Garrett Grayson draft.
I think I'll say this. I think he's probably better than Jared Goff, honestly, at this point. I honestly think
Jared Goff sucks so bad.
I know.
It's not even funny.
It's
like sad.
Well, and also the Bears too. We can beat Tampa Bay, and we can also beat.
I'm going to that game.
Tampa Bay has a very talented team.
Tampa Bay has a good team. I'm going to that game.
We can beat them.
Oh, I didn't say that. I mean, maybe.
Nope.
But with the way that this team is playing right now, maybe not. But
ultimate spin zone. Ryan Fitzpatrick starts another cycle.
Oh, I guarantee you. I will put money that Ryan Fitzpatrick will start a game this year at least.
Gets cut by the Jets, signed to be backup for a mentor for a young quarterback. Young quarterback gets hurt, starts against the Jets when I'm there, absolutely torches Morris Claiborne and Jamal Adams, wrecks my whole trip to Tampa because we're making like a whole thing out of it, and then like leads the Buccaneers to like their first Super Bowl since.
So he'll take them to the playoffs so it's at the point where it's like, oh wait, Ryan Fitzpatrick's pretty solid. But no,
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston? Oh, let's trade him to the Jets because they gave us Fitzpatrick. That only seems fair.
Okay, what do you guys think? You think we're gonna be 5-12?
I had us going 2-14.
2-14, that bad?
And that's if we beat the Browns. That's if we beat the Browns, which is a big.
I'll say. Look, I mean, before this I said 7-9, 8-8,
but Ben's like starting to like, crap.
Well, I mean, you look at the Eric Decker trade, and we don't really know what Hackenberg is, and I read that
we don't.
Or sorry, the Eric Decker possible trade, possible release, or probable release.
We just like Bob Stoops like half of our good guys on the roster, right?
You made
like
four Bob Stoops jokes. What is up with you?
I mean, that's the first Bob Stoops joke I've made.
You made an Art Browse joke. My bad. You made an Art Browse.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, Ben, what do you think, though?
I'm contemplating it in my mind. And look, I mean, we're gonna have the second part of our predictions and probably in another episode later. But at that time, I said the Jets would finish. I think I said 7-9 or 8-8. And by the way, in those predictions, just to clarify, because I think we need to get on record Kyle's take on like most of these first round draft picks, how they're going to be. So for one of those predictions, we're going to go through, and Kyle's going to say whether he thinks they're going to be good, mediocre, average, pro. Give us some predictions for them. We'll do that later, though. Just we're in the dead of summer.
To unearth me as the draft guy.
No, just because I don't agree with.
He knows I put in work, and he can't stand it.
I think you put in work, but then I don't think you're like evaluating it right.
Like when I try to bring on callers, you know how he's like, no, Kyle.
Because Kyle, you're the analyst. Look at this. You are a child.
Yeah, you're trying to unseat me.
You know what, Kyle? Let's go ahead and roast. Let's go ahead and roast your. Rumi, did you see Kyle's new profile picture on Twitter?
Yeah,
I think I look rather dapper.
I think you look pretty good, actually, Kyle.
Yeah, suck it, man.
Pretty good. You edited your face.
I definitely did not. Oh, you want to talk about editing faces, Ben?
You did.
I still
have
those
You did. Look
Ben.
at your header. Look at your header. You blurred it.
I put a background in my room because I had a poster of the Discovery before it blew up in the background. And I was like, oh, that's not going to be good. So, yeah, I blurred my room in the background.
And you blurred your face.
I did not. There's literally...
Kyle was referring to one photo. I was at the beach, and my hair was just, like, everywhere. So he
photoshopped his whole face. And then
I photoshopped another I deleted the post, and yes, I will own that one. That was a little bit of a bad move. But at least I own it. My hair, it was a good photo. It was with my friend. There was a dog. Everything was perfect. And my hair was just, like, in my eyes. And I was like, you know what, let's just – and may I say, it took a little bit for people to notice. Really, Kyle was, like, the only person that noticed.
He sent it to me.
Nobody's noticed.
No, he sent it to me. He just like texted it to me. It's like I think it was like a Sunday morning or something. He just texted me. I'm like, nice Photoshop. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's clearly Photoshopped. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yes, I said it was Photoshopped.
And then he's like, yeah, it was. And I'm like, I know this.
I'm going to own it. I'm not going to be
I'm going to tweet it. I'm going to tweet it. I'm going to go ahead and tweet it.
No, Kyle, please don't tweet it. I have dirt on you, and you know that. If you release those photos, I will release some interesting text messages you may or may not have sent about a year ago.
That's problematic.
Do you remember that? Do you remember those little...
Yeah, that's problematic.
All-time best jet take ever from Kyle. This is just the...
I have your credit card number.
Cuban... You don't have my credit card number, Kyle.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, Kyle. Actually...
Oh, fight me, man.
Do you actually?
No, I'm messing with you. Well, actually, if that depends on how far you push me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay,
yeah, stipulation.
Oh, God, okay.
Throw it at me, then.
I'm pretty sure I might have to cancel that credit card, then.
Well, I have a question for you, though. What do you think about the Bears getting Trubinsky? Do you think that's a good move?
Bears. I don't pay a lot of attention to like Bears management, obviously, like I do the Jets. So I'm not going to go ahead.
The quarterback. Like I don't know Trubinsky. Is he good? I mean, compared to
he was my number one guy throughout the whole process. Ben,
he won't be good.
After that,
he won't be good.
He's trash.
That's all right. Well,
Deshaun Kaiser will be better than Mitch Trubisky. Bold take.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to give it at least 5 years because I don't think Trubisky will see the field this year.
I definitely think he'll see the field.
Why would he see the field?
I don't think Mike Glennon is that amazing.
Mark Sanchez also. So watch out.
The Sanchez.
Sanchez.
All right, well, Ruby, let's get the show back on track. We were kind of rambling for a bit.
Yeah, I've been yawning. Great hosting, buddy.
I know. Am I that boring?
No. It's really just Kyle here. It's pretty much Kyle. It's hard to sit down for 2 hours.
That's the first time I've ever heard him yawn. So I feel like
that's so sad.
No, it's definitely not. It's because it's hard to sit down for 2 hours with the child that Kyle is sometimes. Kyle, I love you, man, and I think you make some great takes, but sometimes you are just. Oh boy, see what I'm dealing with? Some of these jokes, I don't even know what to say. Like I'm at a loss for words. But anyways, Rumi, back to the Jets. I want to talk about a different something we haven't talked about a bit is probably John Morton's offense. I think we should talk a little bit more about that.
Stewart.
Here we go. With the release of Eric Decker, not only does that emphasize the big steps that Quincy Newton will have to take. He'll have to take a monster leap this year.
Monster steps.
And Robbie Anderson will have to continue on the growth. I mean, if Robbie Anderson had a great year his rookie year, he's going to have to pretty much double that this year. I mean,
I don't think he will though. He doesn't fit the offense.
I think he does his own little thing. I think he's not an ideal fit.
He wants to run well, and we'll see how.
Here's about this. Kyle, here's the thing: is if you're a good offensive coordinator, you build your scheme around the players you have, and that is what John Morton said he was going to do. John Morton literally said he's like, I'm going to run. It's going to be a different offense pretty much each. It could be a different offense each week. It's going to fit the skills of our players and the team we're going against, and I like that a lot. So I think he's going to find a role for a guy like Robbie Anderson, who had probably the most talented year for a rookie wide receiver we've had in a long time. But yeah, and not only does this now thrust a guy like Ardarius Stewart. I know I cut her off. I'm sorry, Ruby, that was rude. But this thrusts a guy like Ardarius Stewart into the starting lineup. Guys like Chad Hansen and Sharon Peake are going to be seeing the field quite a bit this year. I mean, they're going to be playing the roles that Robbie Anderson played last year. I mean, they're going to be prominent guys on this team. And guys like Jalen Marshall will probably now make the team.
You got to give him a couple weeks, though.
He's
to let him get adjusted.
I know he's suspended for a few weeks, but I'm just saying, I mean, the Jets are going to be pretty much a wide receiver core that is Quincy Newton will probably, because Quentin Patton got hurt. So Quincy Newton will probably be the oldest.
He got cut, actually.
And just got cut. He got hurt and then cut.
He wasn't allowed to tell me, because I asked him, and David, but I asked him, he's like, I'm not really allowed to tell you because I signed a settlement. Because he had to sign that thing, like the injury, I forget the exact terminology for it, but yeah, that's basically it.
Didn't we sign another guy from the Colts? Devin Street?
Yeah, we signed Devin Street, a guy who I really liked coming out of that draft class. Thought he was talented.
He's good?
Well,
okay,
my point... No, yeah, I mean, maybe that guy like Street could make the team, but my point is that it's going to be a very young wide receiving room.
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of guys are
going to get rid of your veteran.
No, I think I like the move. The Jets know they're not going to be that good. Go let Eric Decker go prosper somewhere else where the Jets find guys who are going to be an impact in a few years when they're also. And the other thing I think that the Jets are going to use a little more, as Matt Forte complained about, is Chan Gailey didn't use Matt Forte as a receiver as much as I thought he would. I think you're going to see Matt Forte be less of the bell cow about
over the past 3 months.
I was not on his. Can I just say I was against him for a while. Like I was all for him after the 20. I'll put it this way: I was all for him in 2015 until that whole Buffalo game, the first one. I was despised him. Then after the 5-game win streak, I softened up. I didn't like the end of that season. And then I think after like the first game this year, I was just Chan Gailey needs to go. And so I was happy when he went.
What are you eating? Are you eating like another ice cream bar right now?
I was actually chewing some gum. I'll spit it out, but
Wow. Yeah. You know, like those come from trees, right? Yeah. Let that go
Fantastic joke there, Kyle. You should become a comedian. You're so funny. But
I'll replace Bill Burr.
And even in OTAs, if you watch some of the brief work we've gotten, you can even see it in the Jets clip. I mean, they have Matt Forte flexed out wide as a receiver, and I think you're going to see that a lot this year too. I think you're going to see him.
So now you're acknowledging OTAs as something that matters for the offense?
I didn't say it didn't matter. I obviously think it shows a bit. I think so. My point is, I think you might see Matt Forte play a little more slot receiver. All right, sorry, Rumi, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was hoping he would use a tight end too. Like, we're going to see Jordan Leggett and Eric Thomas.
That would be nice.
Well, Parker and those guys, right?
A point that I made on Twitter, and I also think I made on the show. I don't want to say that he was like responsible for Jimmy Graham or anything. But if you guys think that Jimmy Graham was not in those receiver meetings when he was the wide receiver coach of the Saints, you're sadly mistaken. Jimmy Graham was in those meetings. He was a wide receiver. So I think John Moran, he does have some experience working with, talent in Jimmy Graham's case, very talented Hall of Fame-worthy tight ends. I don't know if he'll get in the Hall of Fame, but he has Hall of Fame level talent. So, a dedicated Austin Seferian-Jenkins, 120, probably like 130 days sober now, in shape. He's got the 2-game suspension, so Jordan Leggett, he could possibly be in the offense for those first 2 games, but a dedicated Austin Seferian-Jenkins, we saw it with Jameis Winston, a young Jameis Winston, a guy who wasn't making great decisions. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is an absolute threat in the NFL, something you have to game plan for, and a game changer. That dude was on pace for like 12 touchdowns that year until he got...
He lost weight too, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost weight. He got redetermined. Ben put the rapper down.
I was just spitting out my gum, thank you.
That sounds... I keep hearing the noise, though. How long does it take to spit it out? Are you one of those people that are even in your house?
Am I one of those people? Yes, Kyle. Yeah. Continue. Keep going.
I was chewing. But are you
making fun of me for eating while you're eating? I have to sit down for 2 hours. And I love talking Jets, and I can talk Jets for hours, but it's like... Talking Jets with you, Kyle, it's just... Is
that why you missed, 8 weeks in a row?
No, that actually wasn't. I did not miss 8 weeks in a row here. I took a sabbatical. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I was focusing a bit on school there, buddy.
Oh, my God. I heard a totally different word there.
No, I mean, Kyle, you have to remember, the show's at 5:30 for me. It's at 8:30 for you.
That scared the crap out of me. That should make it easier. I'm usually
bad. Text me what you thought I said, but no, it's 5:30 for me. It's 8:30 for you. I mean, I have stuff that goes on and doesn't get done till
But why don't you We've had this. Why don't you do your homework in class?
It's not about homework, and Kyle, as a junior, I'm not gonna. You always get mad when I have this conversation, but basically, no, it's not possible to do every single assignment. Okay, what are we talking? We're talking about the Jets. What are we doing, Kyle, Rumi? Really quickly before we let you go, we spent a lot of this call just talking about nothing. We got Ryan on hold next, and then Justin. And we'll probably wrap up the show.
I'm glad to talk to you guys. It's been fun. I know it's been a while, but I want to try to call in more often.
Hey, we love it. It's the summer. It's good times. I got out. My last exam was today, so it's good time. Yeah, we'll make. I'll have a little plug at the end, just to talk about a little what's coming for the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. But Rumi, before we let you go, I guess we never really asked you a question. But I mean, what are you expecting from this John Morton offense in Week 1? Just again, kind of an open-ended question. But I mean, are you of the mindset that they're going to start Christian Hackenberg? What's your take on these wide receivers? How they're going to use Matt Forte? Just your overall opinion on what the Jets might see this next year. And you could take this question any way you want it. Again, another opening question.
Well, like I said, I think I'm like you. I agree with you. I wasn't a Chan Gailey fan anyways, and I think this guy is more aggressive, and I'm hoping I don't think he's going to start
more up-tempo for sure.
Yes, and I think he's going to start McCown or Petty. And I'm hoping, like you said, he uses the tight end and also, just do more of the running game because they didn't use Matt Forte and Powell as much, like you said, right, last year. So we need to increase our running game and also use those young wide receivers too. So I'm actually optimistic about that. I'm just afraid of the whole, I don't know if we're going to have any more drama on our team or distractions.
You can usually bet on at least one. I think we got our fill, though, with Leonard Williams and Deron Lee. All right, I got one question, and it's kind of for both of you. You both live on the West Coast.
That's right. Cali.
Ben, are you going to a game on the West Coast this year?
I don't think I'm going to go to one at the West Coast.
Oakland game? Come on.
No.
Oakland,
you know, you guys, you go laugh. I think I'm going to that one. I'm probably going to go.
No way I put myself in the black hole.
Scared.
First off, the black hole. Second of all, nothing to do with race. Second of all, the Jets. The Jets do not play well on the West Coast. Third of all, the Raiders are much better.
We don't play well at all, man. Come on.
That's why I said the Jets don't play well.
Don't blame it on the West Coast.
Oh, okay. Well, no, and then, but if there's any chance that I go to a game this year, it will be probably a home game.
Come down to Tampa.
No, it'll probably be no. It's if I'm visiting, I'll be visiting colleges in the fall. So I'll probably be on the East Coast for a bit, and I might No, I'm not going to Tampa. I might try to schedule one. If I see Syracuse or Maryland or whatever, might try to schedule one. Maybe when we're playing the Patriots or some other fun team.
Hey Dad, I want to go this week. Also, can you buy me these tickets? I'm here for
maybe I save up. Maybe I save up and go with David. Maybe David. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Ben, you're not checking out any colleges out here.
Completely forgot about. As far as I mean, look, Kyle, what is that laugh, man? I don't know.
I completely forgot, and I don't know where that came from.
Look, we can talk about the Jets, but as far as colleges, we'll see. We'll see what transpires. Rumi, I will let you know if I'm down in the California area.
Yeah, let me know.
Slide in those DMs.
No.
Awkward laughter from both.
Very awkward laughter. Rumi, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know this was kind of a very relaxed call for you, but we always appreciate your positivity, your energy, and your takes on the team. So go ahead and give out your Twitter for our listeners.
Oh, okay. My Twitter handle is RKLoveJets, and if you can follow me, I'll follow you back, and then we can talk some Jets football. And thank you guys. You guys doing an incredible job.
Hey, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I know it's hard.
Well, Bennett.
Thank you so much.
I'm kind of just here.
Hey, thank you, Rumi.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was
Talk
Rumi.
to you soon at the end. Ooh.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yep.
Sure. All right. Well, our next caller, he has been on the line for quite a while, so we're gonna go ahead and get Ryan his time, and then we're gonna go to Justin. And just as I was about to lock the conference, we have another
Somebody just hopped in last minute,
last minute, right as I was about to click. So we have everybody's gonna get their time to talk. We will get to everybody. So out of these last three, we're gonna go ahead with Ryan first. He's been on the hold for a long time. Ryan, thank you so much for your patience, man. How's it going? He might have fallen asleep.
And
Ryan
he's dead.
And Ryan died.
Dead.
Ryan, you still there, man?
Baby, come back.
You can blame it.
I was so lost without you. You went to the second verse. Why would you just jumped to the second verse?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
They're playing random sound bites.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, I thought that was him. You thought that was him? I thought that was him, for a second. It's thanks, Coach. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. Wait, you ready for this wake-up call? You ready? I'm going to pull a Howard Stern.
Maybe.
I'm going to pull a Howard Stern right now.
I like that guy.
Did you hear him go off topic? Did you hear him, go off on Barstool? He just went on, he just went on, a huge, he's like, I don't even know who these guys are. These guys are, and Barstool is like a $10 million company. I mean, it's pretty, it's not a nobody. He just, had no idea who they were. I thought it was funny. But, all right, ready?
Bryce Petty.
Oh my! That is what your voice sounded like when we started the show.
Preview Besson Kyle makes his return.
I know. All right. Well, I guess Ryan.
Baba Booey, Baba. Come on, Ryan. Come on.
You're trying to wake him up with the Baba Booey.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go ahead.
I can't do the speaker thing because one. You know what? I'm not even gonna explain that. If you've seen the movie, you'll get it.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go to Justin then next, and then Hakeem will. We'll make sure we'll shoot Ryan a DM, and if he's available, we'll bring him back on. If not, we're gonna go end with these two. So Justin, personally my favorite caller.
Well, David.
No, I have nothing against Justin. I like friendly debate. I think Justin.
Wait, can I ask the first question though?
You would be able to.
Yeah. All right.
But anyways, Justin, how's it going, man?
What's up, guys? I don't know what's going on with my phone, but I hear the podcast, but my phone's black, which is very weird. So if I go dead, that's why. So.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I'm trying to turn it off. I don't know what's going on. But
when you
I don't know
when you make a call, Kyle's tech of the day. Ooh, we're making that a thing, Ben. We're making that a thing. When you cover the top part of your phone, like where the speak area and the front lens is, when you're on a call, it goes black to save energy. So
maybe that's what happened.
Kyle, if he's lifting it up though, it should turn back on because they do that because if you're holding it to your ear.
Yeah, if that's a problem.
I don't know.
No, I would try either. You could either hard reset.
Unplug it.
No,
reset
it. That's what I try to put the charger in because I was at 8%, and then I try to put the charger in, and then I try to recall, and then I don't know why. No.
You can if it doesn't work. My tip before you go to Apple would be I would plug the phone into directly a computer with USB.
Reset it. Yeah.
Well, you can either do the hard reset or which wouldn't I don't think it'd lose anything if you do the home button in the.
No, I just got a text, but I don't. Not coming up, so I'll try to plug it in again.
All right. Well, sorry about your phone.
First question. All right. You're pretty controversial. So am I. So I'm not gonna talk crap for that. But how many wins do you think we're getting now?
Oh my God.
No, because Ben, on an episode you weren't here, we went on this it was a solid 30 minutes, just me and him back and forth, better than one that we've had. And he was saying, "Oh, we can beat the Bills, we can beat the Dolphins. Oh, we can. We're always competitive with the Patriots. We can get it." How about now?
Same thing.
What?
I like it.
Same thing. What do you mean? We didn't lose anything.
Ben, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
As CJ said, the problem with these cuts were timing. The timing was terrible. It sends a bad message to the locker room. I said it before. I wanted Harris and Decker.
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Oh
my
God! Now
Price is Right. Come on.
Price is Right. And that was setting up for a joke too. Did you see the guy who won the Plinko thing? He was phenomenal. Did you see that, Ben?
ADHD.
But that was a viral sensation for a couple days. Did you see that? The dude who got $4,000 on Plinko, he shattered or $40,000 on Plinko, he shattered the record.
No,
you didn't see that?
Right.
All right. Well, it turns out he's a Nazi. So.
Oh well.
That was bad publicity for. It was on some sort of news channel the next day, and obviously a Trump supporter because naturally, and he was just going on about some topics we're probably not allowed to discuss. But yikes, that was a bad look for Price is Right. Vanna White, Price is Right. That rhymes.
Was he dressed as a Nazi, and that's why they called him?
No. He was just, he was
that was
speaking.
A joke. I understand. He wasn't.
But so Justin, you said we're gonna stay the same, even though we let go of our best receiver and our best linebacker, and now we currently.
Right,
so,
whoa! Quincy Nunez has the highest potential.
Shut up.
I'm glad.
No, then I'm not letting you spread that.
Justin, I refresh my memory. I can't remember. You were either starkly for cutting Decker or starkly against it, and I can't remember what your take was.
He was for cutting Brandon Marshall. Actually, we all were.
Both actually.
I do remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was, but Justin, I do remember you saying that. So I mean, actually, go ahead and give your take, and then I'll give my analysis. But keep going.
All right, I think it was an excellent move to cut Decker and see if Quincy can take on the number one role. Let these young guys play. And I wanted David Harris gone. The problem I have is the timing. These cuts should have been made when Chacamini, Polk, and all the other guys got cut, as CJ mentioned. But the thing that really pisses me off that no one's really talking about is that's $11 million. We could have easily had Kevin Minter, Hodges.
Yeah, and I made that point earlier.
We could have had any of these guys. We could have had easily.
Yeah. So, Justin, let me just do a follow-up, Ketchel. So I made the same point. If the Jets. What? I don't know if that was a soundbite or whatever that was, but my point from earlier was if this is the Jets' plan from all along. Why didn't they do that earlier? Be respectful like they always have with everybody else. Get the money. You had
Because Kyle, you look at Brick.
Kyle,
for DeBrick Shaw Ferguson, they have Ryan Clady ready. For Darrell Reeves, they have Morris Claiborne ready. For Nick Mangold, they had Wesley Johnson ready. I mean, they had guys.
Let me talk.
This developed because they drafted Jamal Adams, Marcus May, which meant Calvin Pryor was on the block. Calvin Pryor was on the block.
Calvin Pryor was expendable.
Calvin Pryor was on. No, not as expendable as.
We had Rontez Miles behind them. I'm sure the Jets were as comfortable.
And who else were they going to start? They're going to start Marcus Gilchrist? No. No. And so, Kyle, then after that, the Jets realized, hey, after the draft, they realized we have a hole at middle linebacker. Let's go fill it. We get Demario Davis. David Harris, you're not going to take a pay cut. Demario Davis played better than you. Released. Woody Johnson acknowledged the timing was not a deal. And I agree that I don't think the Jets have a clear – I think they know the plan they're going with. I don't think they had mapped this blueprint out. I think this was a bit of a surprise. But I to say that the Jets have no plan, the Jets know what direction they're going with. Let me say that. The Jets know the direction they're going with, but the specifics of the plan, I think –
they know direction.
They played it by ear is what they did.
It might be a wobbly line, but I think the direction's right. But just the line is a little bit crooked.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my computer, I don't know what just happened. Guess I'm visiting too many strange websites. But,
oh, my God.
What? Yeah. Setting myself up. Wow, Ben, you're booing my... Okay. Wow. Pretty sure that's healthy, but... Okay. What do you mean? Justin was singing. Justin was singing that. I love that.
Kyle, were you making a point, or do you need me to take the wheel here?
I was asking you what was the point, and then you hit me with the first soundbite, because I didn't hear you guys for the past minute. My computer
I see. Well, all right. Well, Justin, let's talk a little bit about these quarterbacks here. I can't remember if you were involved in the debate to start why the Jets should start Christian Hackenberg, but go ahead and give who do you think should start. Given these cuts, I can vaguely remember your take. But after these cuts, who should the Jets start?
Ben is pretty sure that you're on his side.
It's kind of obvious. Whoever wins the starting job between Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty.
Yeah, I like that take.
And no Josh McCown. You just noticed he said that.
Well, I don't want Josh McCown to start. I'm just saying that's what I think the plan is for right now.
Josh McCown is not an option.
Well, he is. Otherwise, he would be on the roster.
Sucks, who isn't the future. No thanks. Solve it.
Well, maybe the Jets think that those guys aren't the future. And maybe that's why they brought in and overpaid for McCown.
McCown was just brought in because the other options were most of the other options were pretty bad.
Really?
But $6 million for Josh.
Pretty sure Colin Kaepernick's significantly better, and he could be the future of the franchise.
I don't know about that, and no.
The dude's young. He's got talent. He's been in the Super Bowl. He has playoff experience.
I would have rather had anyone for cheaper, honestly. But paying $6 million for Josh McCown was a big mistake to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they also paid for his filet mignon at that steakhouse. So add an extra $100,000 on top of that. So.
Great take there, Kyle. All right. Well, Justin, I agree. I agree with you as to far. I agree with they should start whatever young quarterback wins the job, and then if Bryce Petty is terrible, this is Kyle, because we got to this point, we agreed up to here. But then if Bryce Petty is terrible,
and this is where we went wrong.
Yeah, right. If Bryce Petty's terrible, put in Christian Hackenberg. Even if you think Christian Hackenberg might be worse, you at least go and see it. Just at least witness it for a few games. No, it's true.
If you think if it's even close, then it's Hackenberg's job. It's not rocket science here.
Why?
Because you need to see what you got. You invested a second-round pick. What do you mean?
I invested a fourth-round. I traded up and invested a fourth-round pick in Bryce Petty. Just because we reached for Christian Hackenberg doesn't mean we have to assume him to be the future. I think that's the problem.
Yes, he does. Because
that's the problem, though, because we did the same thing with Geno Smith.
We ran him out of town.
He wasn't a first-round pick for a reason, right? They're not – these guys, you have to work with them. And I think that Christian Hackenberg is at the point where it's going to be very hard to work with them. So they're not – the second-round pick standard, I think, is bullcrap, especially at the quarterback position. You can't expect these guys to come in and be great immediately. They're not top 10
exactly.
picks.
I'm not saying he has to be great. I never once said that.
Well, do you want your quarterback to be great?
Well, it takes time. It takes time, but I mean, starting Josh McCown doesn't solve anything. So you got to just go with and be a work in progress.
Does Christian Hackenberg solve anything though? If Christian Hackenberg's just going to create more questions.
No, he's not. I mean,
why not?
Would you rather Josh McCown start or Bryce Petty? So then Bryce Petty will
Bryce
win
Petty.
the job then. All right. Well, that's fine with me as long as it's Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg.
If I had my choice, I would go Bryce Petty because I think he's competent enough to go on the field just because of his.
What, Kyle? What is that based on? Is that just based on your eye test? Like, is that just like?
That is based on. I think Bryce Petty
he improved
why?
last year.
Kyle, why? What is that based on?
I think Bryce
he improved
Petty's
last year. That's all you do from year to year is improve, and that's what Bryce Petty did.
Yeah,
the offensive line got him killed.
Okay, I understand that. So you're saying based off, even though, so Kyle, you're not even factoring in that Christian Hackenberg could have improved, even though he has better intangibles and has better potential.
Yeah, I know.
He does not have better. Oh my God!
Yes, he does.
He was a fifth-round prospect. Christian Hackenberg was a fifth-round prospect. Just because we picked this dude in the second round,
Bryce Petty is as old. Bryce Petty is 26 years old. Kyle.
Okay, quarterbacks played at like 35 and 36 today.
Let's look at his stats. So he went 2016. So let's go look at his stats here for a second, just because we're gonna talk a little bit.
They're not great at all. He had like
they were terrible.
He had like one touchdown.
So in his 5 games, he actually threw a pass. Total for the 2016 regular season, he went 75 for 133, so it's a 56.4% completion percentage.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
809 yards.
That's exactly
an average of 6 yards per carry per pass. Here's where it gets bad.
I was about to say that's actually really good for a quarterback.
3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, a QBR of 19.8. Justin.
Hey, Justin, you got
a 19.8. Let's cool it on that. He improved. No. And if we're gonna go chronologically order, I'll go. So it's we're gonna read it out really fast. His first start, 19 for 32, 163 yards, 59% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Against who?
Next against the Rams. Next game.
Defense.
I'll read out the completion percentage and the touchdown.
Rams D is pretty good. Okay.
I'll read out the completion percentage, and then next game. So he went from 59% to 44% against the Colts. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but he came in at the end of the game. But
he came out at the end.
He did still throw 25 passes and only completed 11. The next game, this is his best game of the year. He went 23 for 35, 257 yards, a completion percentage of 65.7 against the 49ers. 0 for touchdowns passing. He had 1 rushing. I believe. No,
he had a 2-point
conversion. My bad. He had a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Rushing. And 1 interception, a QBR of 34.3, which is his highest of the year, because the other ones were 24.4 and 27.9. His QB rating was 75.5 though, and his first game went 70.2, second game went 41.3, the third game went 75.5, and his last game that he actually played, because we're not going to even give New England one because he just went 0 for 3 and an interception and then got hurt. Was the Miami game, 20 for 36, 235 yards, completion percentage of 55, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, QBR of 14.5.
How many of those did he?
Rating of 61.7.
Then I don't know if
But he was behind a terrible offensive line that game. That game was terrible.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but how many of those did he go into as a starter? Like that one?
1, 2, 3. We're not going to count the New England game, so we'll say 3. But he did go into the New England game as the starter and then got hurt.
Okay. So, and the 3 games were
Los Angeles,
Rams,
San Francisco, and Miami.
Yeah.
So, 2 out of the 3 best games he played.
Rams are
defined best. A QBR of 24, 34, and 14.
They were the best of the sample size he gave us.
A sample size of a total of 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. A total of an average completion percentage of, so it's 59, 44, and 55. I'm not going to be able to do this in my head, but an average completion percentage of about 50. let's probably say it was probably around 55. So around 55 completion percentage. I don't want to calculate that.
That's a
what's
little
Josh
under
McCown's
average.
career? What's
That's
Josh
a little
McCown's
under
career
average in the
percentage?
NFL.
I know. I'm not doubting that. I think Bryce Petty can definitely. I don't think that's what he can show. I'm just saying that I think he can still grow, but I just think Christian Hackenberg has the better build, the better intangibles, stronger arm.
Yeah, he has a better ceiling.
All right,
He's younger. He has a much higher
list.
ceiling. You can't argue that. Like,
Let's go down the list.
without
No,
a
I
doubt.
want to.
Kyle, you can say that I would agree with you that Bryce Petty probably has the higher floor than Christian Hackenberg right now. Meaning, if you were to enter a game right now, I mean,
I think he has the higher floor
according to
and the
practice,
higher ceiling.
according to practices, according to Carnegie's report, through all the practices, Christian Hackenberg has been much better than Bryce Petty. But we'll ignore that for a second. I would probably say Bryce Petty right now, given what he's proven, has a higher floor than Christian Hackenberg. But it is indisputable that Hackenberg has a much higher ceiling.
Ben. Let's go down the checklist.
All right, fine, go.
All right.
Oh, we did not count his fumbles, by the way. But
Yeah,
so
no,
8
fumbled,
total turnovers.
he fumbled like 3 times, I think.
He fumbled once.
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah,
I thought he fumbled more
It was
than
the one
that.
against Miami where he got hit by like 3 guys at once. I think.
That happened a lot, didn't it? that happened an ungodly amount of times to him.
Yes, it did.
You wonder why he had like 8 different injuries. All right, so let's talk. What do you look for in a quarterback? All right, let's just start with the arm. We'll just call that
Hackenberg got it. Easy.
No.
Who as far as if we were standing at the 1 yard line of one side, who could throw it farther? Clearly Hackenberg. If we're just going arm strength,
Hackenberg might be able to get like 2 more yards.
definitely more. Hackenberg is a much stronger than Bryce
It isn't
Petty.
even a matter of just like.
And Bryce Petty is a strong arm. It's not even a.
It's a matter of they both can make every throw. I'll say that. It's just a matter.
I mean, any quarterback can make any throw. It's just,
Yeah, but it's just a matter of accuracy. And Bryce Petty is leaps and bounds ahead of Christian Hackenberg in accuracy.
not by much. I wouldn't say leaps and bounds. Bryce
I
Petty
would
was
say
pretty
leaps and
inaccurate.
bounds. If he's hitting reporters again, that's a bad
Bryce
sign.
Petty is pretty terrible at accuracy as well. It's just Christian Hackenberg is so bad at it that it's like. So we'll say Bryce Petty has him in accuracy. Christian Hackenberg has him in arm talent. As far as
talent means nothing.
as far as size goes, Christian Hackenberg has it. As far as what the Jets invested,
By like an
I know
inch.
you don't like to take that into account. Christian
By an
Hackenberg's
inch.
got it. Hackenberg. So Petty is 6'3", 6'3", 6'4". You could look at what else is
Mobility.
there? I mean, mobility.
Petty has that by a mile.
Yes, but as far as pocket presence goes, from what we saw in college, Hackenberg.
Okay.
As far as
I'll agree with that just because of the offenses they ran.
You can't really say. I mean, Christian Hackenberg ran more of a pro-style offense, at least in his freshman year, than Bryce Petty did.
In his freshman year.
We have not been able to evaluate the most important part of being the quarterback, and that is reading the defenses. Because Bryce Petty's turn, Bryce Petty struggled with that. Bryce Petty definitely struggled with that. Hackenberg we have not seen.
Based on what I saw in that preseason game against the Eagles, he was
in the one preseason game, Kyle, where he's playing with a bunch of scrubs in his rookie year.
He is also
only
a scrub.
I'm aware. I'm just saying. Okay.
He's on the same level of all of them. So don't make it seem like, oh yeah, he's just out there with
I'm not a
nobody
Christian
around
Hackenberg homer here. I'm just saying that they need to start.
Sounds like you
And-
are.
No, I will take whoever wins this competition. I'm just saying I think
It will be
I
Josh
think it's
McCown.
indisputable that Hackenberg has the higher ceiling. I think that's point blank range.
We haven't talked to Justin in a while, so we're being bad hosts. Sounds like Justin is packing his lunch tomorrow or something.
Justin's got a party going on.
I really don't want to know what that sound is. Oh my god.
Turn down his volume.
Justin, are you there? Wow, that's 2 callers that just like bail on us.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're there.
He's back.
He's
Right.
alive.
Justin, who's better, LeBron or MJ?
LeBron. Could that's a debate too.
Oh my god.
The little amount of respect that I had for you, and I'll say it, but the little amount of respect for you that I had just for defending your takes, you just lost it.
As far as who would win 1-on-1 though, LeBron.
Wait, Ben, didn't you say the Cavs would win the series?
Yeah, I did say the Cavs would win in 6. Because my reasoning behind that is
Hold on, let's get things straight. This Golden State team is the best team ever.
Yeah,
That's
I would
false.
agree with that. No, I agree with that. No, Kyle, my reasoning is because I'm not putting money on this. I was not putting any money on this. Which version, Kyle? Are we talking about the old Showtime Lakers?
This team's
with
about
Wilt
to go
Chamberlain? Or are we
16
talking
and
Kobe
0.
Shaq?
16-0. They haven't lost a game in the postseason. This team is better than the Chicago Bulls.
Kyle, there's the original Showtime Lakers.
I'm talking about Magic Johnson Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, this team's way better than them.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with Justin there.
I don't even know how to comprehend that. Okay.
No, I agree. No, my reasoning is
I just want to get Kyle to stay on air again. The Jets are going to go 2-14.
The Jets are going to go 2-14. There you go. And that's if we beat the Browns. You'll be thanking me when we have Josh Allen, Andrew Luck in my mind. Very comparable to Andrew Luck.
By the way, we might not get Sam Darnold might not come out too. So
I don't consider Sam Darnold as the number one. I literally just told you Josh Allen.
All right, John. We're not even going to be positioned to draft him, so don't worry about that.
Kyle.
Yeah.
To get that though, shouldn't the Jets start Christian Hackenberg?
No,
because
I don't think it's going to make a difference.
If he is good, he is your quarterback. If he is bad, you draft Josh Allen. It's pretty simple.
Christian Hackenberg is going to have to make the Pro Bowl for me not to take Josh Allen. I consider Josh Allen a very, very good talent. To put it in perspective, you know how much I love Mahomes. All right, Justin, can you I don't know if you're having like a shindig right now, but can you tell them to calm down a little? But Jesus,
people are squaring up.
Yeah. Ben just used the term "square up," and I'm dying. To put this in perspective, you know how much I love Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen would have been my number one quarterback, not even close. So.
Well, I mean, he still has to play his next year, and so we'll see how it goes.
I want to get this on record, too. Randall Johnson is going to be a player to watch for training camp.
Ooh, I like that. All right,
I like it, too. Justin, we gotta wrap things up, and we gotta go to the next caller.
We got a shindig to get to.
I enjoy your call. I'm sorry we didn't get to get into a little more heated debates because I do enjoy them. But go ahead and give out your Twitter so people can go give you a follow.
At Justin2413.
All right, thank you, Justin. We will hopefully hear from you soon.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week.
You too.
That sounded like a lit party.
Last caller of the night. This is Hakeem. Hakeem, how you doing, man?
Where'd Alex go? No offense to Hakeem, but where'd Alex? Did he die?
Alex left. Hakeem, welcome to the show, man. Let's talk some Jets football here, man. How you doing?
Hey, man. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on. Thanks for keeping the show running for me. Appreciate it. Oh, man, just so many big news, happening. I just wanted to share my thoughts a little bit. Obviously, ideally, the Jets, should have cut those guys in March, but it would have presented even a bigger problem as they approach free agency and try to re-sign their own players. Brian Winters would have, if David Harris and Eric Decker were already gone too, Brian Winters would have demanded a bigger contract. And Calvin Beachum might have not even came to our team, knowing that we just cut Revis, Mangold, and all these other players. And he would, and going into this rebuilding effort, I don't think we would have been able to even sign Kelvin Beach. I think he would just rather go anywhere else. And so I think,
I will argue again.
Obviously, the timing of it is still bad to treat David Harris like that. But I think the Jets needed to keep some veterans on the squad just for the, to save face in free agency. And their plan, obviously, was to go to the rebuild the whole time.
If they wanted to save face just to have it burn like Harvey Dent, I feel like that's stupid. Ben, you did. I was expecting a laugh from you on that joke, Ben.
No, nothing there. I heard it, I acknowledged it, and I moved on.
You're like the biggest Batman guy I know. You didn't like the Harvey Dent joke.
Mediocre.
I liked it though.
Yeah. Thank you, Hakeem. All right, I'll argue the Kelvin Beachum thing. Kelvin Beachum, not so hot last year. I don't know how many more offers he had, honestly. He may have had like one or two more, but I don't think it would have made a difference. And then the Brian Winters one, we got him really cheap. I don't know if people acknowledge that, but we were able to get him before free agency even started, which was complete stupidity on his mark. He probably would have got paid similar numbers. I don't want to say similar numbers to Andrew Whitworth because left tackles get paid more than right guards, but he may have been like the second or third highest paid right guard in the NFL, and I don't even think he's top 15 right now. So big Jimbo on his part, and I don't think Kelvin Beachum would have gone anywhere besides the Jets because he was an immediate starter for us. We gave him a decent deal, and we were really the only people that wanted him, at least according to reports. Obviously, I'm not an agent, but I do like your take. I do like the saving face take. That kind of does make sense, but I'm still going to go with mine because I wrote an article about it, and I'm trying to win a free T-shirt. So.
No, makes sense, yeah, for sure. And I do think the DeMario Davis trade, even though Todd Bowles won't admit that played a part in David Harris getting cut, I think it definitely did. Yeah, and I'm not saying that DeMario Davis is going to be this great player, but, you know, he provides a little stability, and he's 28. So if he can prove himself, you know, he can maybe get, you know, some more. Well, maybe he gets some playing time. He still has some good years left in him. And, you know, obviously I think he's dealt with a more younger team when he was in Cleveland. So maybe he can, you know, bring some, you know, great experiences back with him to grow. But I don't really care about, you know, DeMario Davis at this point. I think he'll just be you know, a two-down player for us at best. But I wanted to ask you guys and get your take on this is that, you know, Mike Maccagnan and Todd Bowles, like, you know, their tenure, like right now at the state, like based on the moves he's making, like I don't feel like he feels like he's in trouble. I think he's got assurance from Woody Johnson that, hey, okay, you know, we're going to collapse this year. We're going to be terrible this year, and you know, I'm going to allow you to rebuild it back up. So I think they have 2 more years, both ready to go. So that's why, like, you know, they gave Brian Winters a front-loaded contract. Like, I feel like if they were really on the hot seat, they wouldn't cut David Harris or Eric Decker. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I think that, you know, when you know that they have 2 more years and they have all this cap space and flexibility coming up, it's like, you know, you got to try to get behind it and just try to, you know, hope for the best. So I think that, you know, Jet fans should just be patient and, you know, wait for things to happen.
A couple things I just want to say on that. I saw a tweet today about DeMario Davis. It's like he may be like the first player in NFL history to be back-to-back years 1-15. Like teams that win 1-15. And that's kind of a possibility. 2, yes, I agree with you. I think Todd Bowles and Mike Maccagnan have assurance for like the next 2 or 3 years. It'd be completely unfair for them to be expected to win with this team. It's young. It has talent. You can't expect these guys to come out year 1. Not everybody's Leonard Williams and Jamal Adams. 2, you mentioned, or I'm sorry, 3. I can't count. You mentioned the Brian Winters deal. Front heavy. That's great. What a lot of people aren't crediting Mike Maccagnan for is everybody wants to say, you know, well, first of all, it's Woody Johnson. We all know who he is, right? He wants to win. He wants to win bad. Guarantee you, I'm willing to bet money. I think we can all agree on this. Mike Maccagnan came in. He said, build me somebody who's going to win this year. I think that's when he went out. That's what he did. And what he was able to do, he was able to do that. It was mildly successful for 1 year. Stupid TJ Graham can't catch a ball. Still haunts me to this day. Yeah.
You mean Kimbrel Tompkins?
Not. What did I say?
TJ Graham. Which is a few years ago. That was weird.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, my bad. Similar guys. Don't comment on that. Kimbrel Tompkins can't catch a ball. What he did, he was able to bring in all those guys. But you notice 2 years later, they're all gone, and we're not having significant cap effects. And I don't think anybody's giving Mike Maccagnan credit for that. You know what incredibly hard it is to bring in, like, he brought in like a solid 5 to 8 guys. I'm not going to count off the top of my head. I'm already confusing myself enough with the words I say. He brought in Revis. He brought in Marshall. He brought in Fitzpatrick. He brought in Gilchrist. He brought in these guys who came in. They started. They did good things for 1 year, average things for year 2. We tried to build a winner. We couldn't, but we got out of it. And at the same time we were doing that, we were drafting difference makers, playmakers, and retaining the good players brought in by former regimes. You know, I was seeing arguments today saying, oh, Mike Maccagnan needs to be fired. let's not forget that he's responsible for our whole offensive line at this point. He's either drafted them, signed them, or re-signed them. Quarterback position, he's responsible for them. He brought in Matt Forte, probably our best running back. I don't think Bilal Powell can go a whole year as number one. I hope he changes my mind this year. Wide receivers, he didn't bring in Quincy Nunwa, but he did bring in Robbie Anderson, did bring in Ardarius Stewart, and he brought in almost everybody behind him. On defense, re-signed Mo, drafted drafted Leonard Williams, didn't do anything with Sheldon. Linebacking core, Jordan Jenkins, Lozo, Darren Lee, secondary, Morris Claiborne, Marcus May, Jamal Adams. The list goes on and on. Undrafted free agents that we don't even talk about. Deion Simon, Lawrence Thomas, guys who are talented, guys who are making a difference on the field, on special teams. They're trying. They're young guys. He did this all while trying to build a winner because your owner is breathing down your back 24/7. And everybody wants to come out here and say Mac needs to be fired because these veterans didn't work for the amount of time we wanted them to. He should not be fired. He's done a great job. I will disagree with the Hackenberg pick. I hate that. I always will. I'll always be biased.
But I mean, he has done some, and the Devin Smith pick.
I'm not gonna go against him for the Devin Smith pick because that's injuries. He can't control that. You can't control that.
Yeah, except, I mean, when Devin Smith was healthy, I mean, how productive was he? But, again.
He caught a touchdown.
One touchdown, and he couldn't
that's
really
more
run
than
anyway.
we've done.
I guess if his bar is to be better than you or I, Kyle, then, oh, boy, what is the question there? But, Kyle,
Elder's a Hall of Famer if we're doing that.
No, I definitely think, I don't think the Jets should move on from Mike McCagnon. And Todd Bowles, I think, needs to prove to me that he's gotten better with the clock management and handling the locker room and stuff this year. Less, mental coaching errors, sort of like that. Mike McCagnon has my respect. It's not only because I got to meet him, but it's because I honestly think he's done a great job. No, I honestly think. Now, let me say this. I would give him a B+ if I had to grade. I mean, I think Leonard Williams fell into his lap, but he made the right pick, didn't listen. Although, yes, could you have forgotten Vic Beasley and possibly? Yes, but Leonard Williams is going to be a big part of changing the culture. He made the right pick. He made the Jamal Adams pick. He's done some good job with his late round drafting. He found Robbie Anderson. I mean, I think he's worth keeping around. I think Mike McCagnon is a very solid GM. And as far as the best GM, I mean, he obviously still has to earn it. And I think that you make that great point. Is he's quietly built the Jets a little foundation here while trying to win. But I mean, that is what the fans wanted. Is they wanted the Jets to go all in, bring in Darrelle Revis, bring in Brandon Marshall. He did it, and it got us success for a year. And now he's tearing it down. He's going to build the team the way he wants it. I think the Jets should owe him a few years. A few years. There we go. 2 or 3 years is what I was trying to say there. I think Bill Parcells was a solid GM for the Jets in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think that Mangini, I think he had his issues as a head coach, but I think he was a very solid talent evaluator. I mean, you think of all the guys he brought in: David Harris, Shaw Ferguson, Nick Mangold, Darrelle Revis. The list goes on. I think if he would have been able to be the GM, I think the Jets, I think he would still be in the league that way. But they moved on from him. And then after that, I mean, and I don't think the Herm Edwards, Al Groh era was fantastic either. But after that, I mean, I think Tannenbaum, Idzik, both have been both were pretty terrible. I think McCagnon is the right guy for this job. I have a lot of faith in him, and I may be wrong, but I think the Jets owe him a few years. Bowles still has to earn that, but I definitely think the Jets have a bright future. Hakeem, before we let you go, I want to get your thoughts on these tight ends, just because we haven't talked about it as much. Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Kyle, we touched on it a bit, but Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Yes, I like that move a lot, and I'm bummed that Seferian-Jenkins didn't make as much of an impact his first year here as he could have, because the Jets really needed the tight end. But I think he's refocused himself. He's lost 25 pounds. He's going to be faster. He had a good rookie year in Tampa Bay. Then we completely forgot about Corey Leggett, the 5th-round draft pick. I mean, I think the Jets might be able to employ. I mean, their version of
Jordan Leggett.
What did I say, Corey?
Yeah, you said Corey.
Why did I say Corey? That's weird.
Corey in the house. Yeah, it's a
I'm trying to think why I would say Corey.
Corey,
like a
guy. Corey,
Legit? Corey Legit, that's what I was doing. I'm sorry, I meant Jordan. But I mean, I think the Jets can have their own version of a two tight end offense as well. So I wanted to get your take on these tight ends. I mean, what type of numbers are you expecting for them this year? I mean, how are you expecting Leggett to play? How are you expecting Austin Seferian-Jenkins? Because the tight end position hasn't been one that the Jets have had any success from really recently. As going as far back probably to Dustin Keller was the last tight end that the Jets had that was pretty impressive.
Kellen Davis.
Yes, Kellen Davis. But just your take on the tight ends in 2017.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the tight end position, especially to see how Johnny Moe incorporates them. I love, Seferian-Jenkins' story right now, getting healthier, getting in shape, just catching everything his way. But, I'm not, expecting anything significant. I would just be really, really happy if out of the two of them they combined to get like 40 catches. I would be really happy with that, considering our tight end possession has been non-existent. I'm really more focused on how they're going to block because, both these players, have a lot of work to do in the blocking game. And, with Seferian-Jenkins losing weight doesn't really help him, in line. And Jordan Leggett as a rookie, he's going to struggle regardless. Yeah, well, he was overweight. I hear you, but Jenkins never was a gritty player that got down and dirty in the run game. I'm not saying that I expect him to come out and play, move some people around, but as long as he can fight and show me that he can maybe be a every down type tight end, I would really like for him to come in and take a hold of this spot. But I'm excited to get Leggett some plays down the seam, for third and long, and see what he can do. But I'm excited more than I've probably ever been since we drafted Dustin Keller. So, it's quite refreshing to see all the tight ends that we have and seeing, all the talent that they possess. So it's just an exciting time at the tight end position, man. But I do agree with your takes. I feel like earlier, just to backtrack on, Woody Johnson definitely forced Maccagnan to spend early, and but Maccagnan masterfully got out of the deals with minimal cap hit. I remember there were analysts saying, they should treat Fitzpatrick with respect. They should give him a 3-year, $36 million deal. Like, it was crazy. Like, we so forget so quickly, but I think he's done a solid job too, and he's created a path for these young players to get more playing time and capture some roster spots like Gabe Marks, and Connor Harris from Lindenwood. So I'm just excited overall still for the season. I don't know why everyone else is so down. I'm excited to see all this talent, speed, and youth on the field. And I know you guys were talking about quarterbacks. I just wanted to say I think Josh McCown's going to end up starting because I don't think Christian Hackenberg or Bryce Petty are ready to lead a huddle or a team. And I think they still need more time. Yeah, they need more time still, and it's sad to say, but that's what type of projects they were. And we'll see what happens in 2018. I just want to focus on 2017 right now. But thanks for having me on your show, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Hakeem Amir. Kyle and Ben, great work like always, man. Huge fan. Love your show. Take care, guys.
Hey, that really means a lot, Hakeem. Thank you so much, and I love when you call in, man. Call in a little earlier, man. You'll get the CJ treatment of just the 30 to 40 minutes just to talk whatever. But again, you are definitely one of our most knowledgeable callers, and we greatly appreciate the support. So everybody, go ahead and go follow him at his handle. And Hakeem, hopefully we will talk to you soon. There's never a dull moment being a Jets fan, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. But anyways, thank you so much for calling in. I cut him off because I thought it was just going to be silent. Come on. I know. I waited for a second. And then...
Comment on that call first. I love how we started the Johnny Moe trend. We started that. Because people were calling him Johnny Moe before that in the Saints community, but in the Jets community, until Quentin Patton came on the show and we tweeted like Johnny Moe, like that was the quote. Now everybody's calling him Johnny Moe.
I think that might have something to do with him actually being called Johnny Moe within the Jets organization.
Shut up.
Hence why Quentin Patton said it on our show.
Man, come on, marketing, buddy, marketing.
Yes, Kyle Fahey, the marketing genius.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap
I've
things
actually been on
up,
fire tweeting lately. I've actually got us a decent amount of impressions. So.
Good job.
Thank you. It means a lot.
All right, before we wrap things up, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give a trivia question. I have to think of one.
Wait, didn't we used to have the guy to do that for us?
Yeah, I don't know what that happened.
Yeah, I don't. Where did he go? Is that what happens when you turn 18? Is it like North Korea?
All right, Kyle.
They just ship you off to military school or something?
Right. Let me see.
Oh, or is it like China where you only get to have one child and they had to make a decision?
I
guarantee you he'll listen to. Guarantee you.
Game stats. I'm trying to find something.
What good does this trivia question do though, man?
Well, I guess we give it to our callers because it gives.
Oh, Rumi is intrigued.
All right, well, we will give it to the callers.
I'm stupid, so I'll kind of answer this too. I just want to test myself.
Well, I actually, you can text me the answer and I'll tell you if you're right, but don't say it out loud. We're gonna give our listeners a trivia question if I can find one. Kyle, you can talk about something, whatever you want, preferably Jets related. Give me like 30 seconds. Let me find this.
You can't say whatever you want and then have it be Jets related. Going back to the McCagnon thing, people want to say they fired him. It's incredible being able to sign all those veterans who come in commanding, and you being a Jets team who was absolutely trash the year before. Not good. You're coming from literally the circus Rex Ryan. Oh, I want to talk about that too. But you came in and you were able to get out of these deals within 2 years with almost really no major cap conflicts. That's incredible. Mike McCagnon did a phenomenal job of that. He's done a phenomenal job of building this roster from the head up or from the toes up, whatever you want to say, once again, because this offensive line, it's young. I don't care if Brian Winters was drafted by John Idzik, all right? He could have let him walk. He didn't. He got him on a great deal. He brought in Kelvin Beachum, brought in James Carpenter, re-signed Wesley Johnson, re-signed Brian Winters, drafted Brandon Shell in the 5th round, came in, started 3 really good games for us. Hopefully he can continue that. The offensive line looks set. Quarterback's big question, but those are his guys. Running backs, Bilal Powell, that's Idzik. I'll give that to Idzik. Or, wait, it was Idzik, right? Or Bilal Powell?
Tannenbaum.
How old is Bilal Powell?
20. He's really old, actually. He's like 29. He's older than you'd think he would be.
Yeah, why are we investing in him again? Why didn't we draft a running back?
I'm not sure. I'm not in love with Elijah McGuire either
He's a kick returner.
Yes. All right, I think I have one.
I'm just repeating myself now, but quick comment. How about Rex Ryan? I knew this dude was into weird things, but did you see this story?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, I'll tell the whole story because you had to dig deep to find the whole story. First of all, he is getting charges pressed against him. So wow. I expect a Rex Ryan mugshot very soon, and it's going to make my year. Expect a lot of Photoshop things to come from that. Okay, so Nashville, I guess they're just there partying, chilling, probably has something to do with the NHL playoffs or the Stanley Cup. Rex Ryan wearing a XXXXL Bryce Harper, jersey. Apparently, the thing about Nashville, apparently around this time of year, it's full of bachelorette parties. So they're at this bar, they're drinking. Apparently, Rex Ryan, he's hopped up, Dave and Buster's time, ready? He goes up to this bachelorette group.
Yeah, I saw this photo. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you see how handsy his brother got? Did you see that photo?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yikes. Okay, so you know how Rex has the foot fetish? That's just a known thing.
I'm going to put my foot in the ground here and say I do not know what you're talking about.
That was good. That was good, Ben.
That was the Wes Welker thing. You use the foot and now. No, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So he has the whole foot thing. So apparently, he I won't say exactly what he said, but apparently he made some remarks to the girls about foots and him. Something amongst the minds of, you know what I like. the guys didn't like that. Apparently, like her fiance was at the bachelorette party for some reason. Things got said. People got drunk. Rex Ryan does one of those, oh, I hate Bill Belichick punches, and now he's going to get arrested for it. And I love it. I just love that. That's Rex Ryan to a T. Right?
I guess so. Okay, Kyle. The great story time there.
Thank you.
Well, I guess this is a softball here, but we'll throw it out to our listeners. We'll tweet it out. Rumi is ready.
Whoa.
Whoever is first.
I just refreshed it, and it said Jets have trade, and I'm like, uh-oh. And Jets have trade talks with Ravens and other teams about Eric Decker, according to Albert Beer. I just want to say, I want to trade. I tweeted this out from the Jet Take, and it actually got a lot of things. I want to trade Eric Decker. Like, yeah, tweeters, whatever.
Tweeters.
Yes, I just like tried to hold in a burp and I couldn't. I want to trade him to Minnesota. Give me Teddy Bridgewater. Boom. Problem
All right.
solved.
Bold take right there. Well, here's our trivia question. A bit of a softball. Kyle, this is not for you, so do not say the answer. The Jets will open their season on the road for the first time since what year, and who was the opponent? So it has a little level to it. Okay, so what was the year the last time the Jets... don't say it, Kyle. I swear to God.
I actually have to think about this.
So who was the opponent, and what was the year that they last led? And we're going to add one other level to this. This is going to be the tough part of it. So there's 3 parts: opponent, year. Okay. How many touchdowns did our quarterback throw in that game?
Okay. I think I have a guess. Would I get stabbed in this location?
I can't say anything, but please don't say it out loud. So whoever gets closest to him, I would assume somebody could get.
They're just going to Google it then. You know that, right?
All right. Well, we will post it on Twitter. We'll see who the first person will get it. If they do, we'll give them a retweet. Maybe get them a few followers.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Probably.
Kyle.
Wait, if we're just going to put it on Twitter, can't I, guess it right here? The show's not... Rumi's the only one listening.
All right, fine. You can go ahead and give your guess. I will... yeah, go ahead and give your guess.
I think the quarterback thing to show off my answer. All right, it's been 6 years. I think it was Oakland in, 2011, right?
Nope. That is incorrect. I would play that soundbite, but I won't.
What was it then?
Well, I have to make sure. I know.
Rumi. Yeah.
No, Rumi's wrong. I know what the answer is to all the other ones. I'm trying to make sure I get the. I'm trying to make sure I get the. I know the answer to the Jets. I know the answer to the Jets quarterback one. But let me make sure I get this right. All right. Well, anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it. So Rumi gave her guess. So I guess these guys will be listening after the fact. So the answer is 2009, Jets versus Texans. It was Mark Sanchez's first game as an NFL player, and he threw, I believe, I thought it was just 1 touchdown. Let me make sure I'm right.
Really?
Yes.
That was our
and he threw 1 touchdown.
Opener?
Yeah. That was our last away opener was 2009, because then we went 2010, we opened up against the Ravens. 2011, the 10th year anniversary of 9/11. 2012 was the Jets versus Bills game.
Wait, wasn't that in Dallas?
No, that was – why would that be in Dallas? Dude, why would that be in Dallas? 2011. And then we played in Dallas in 2015, Kyle. Use your head, man. 2012, that was the game Stephen Hill caught 2 touchdowns, the opening with Tebow and stuff. 2013, Geno Smith's first game against the Buccaneers with the pushgate thing. 2014 against the Raiders at home, where Chris Ivory did the
pushgate?
Remember when he was we needed a touchdown, we were driving, and then he got the pushed out of bounds at the 50-yard line, and that pushed the Jets into field goal range because it was an unnecessary roughness.
Oh yeah.
And then 2014 was the Jets Raiders game where Chris Ivory celebrated at the 35-yard line and almost got caught. Then 2015, Ryan Fitzpatrick's first game against the Browns. Last year was against the Bengals. And now here we are going up against Buffalo. So the last game, for those who aren't listening live, we're going to see who can get it on Twitter, was Jets versus Texans, 2009, and Mark Sanchez threw 1 touchdown pass. I probably could have just you know what, I'm just going to put the first part of it. I thought that would have been too easy, but I guess both you guys didn't get it, so.
Yeah. I thought for sure it was Oakland.
No, it was not. All right, well, that will do it for us. Yeah, I guess so. Thank you for all our listeners. You can follow us at thejettake on Twitter,
Holy
Instagram.
Crap, 10:30?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, pretty much Google Play, pretty much any other podcatcher. We're on Facebook. But definitely contact us on Twitter, troll us, reply, talk chats with us, hate us. It doesn't matter. We just love interacting with people on Twitter, so definitely go ahead and do that. This summer, I'm out of school and Kyle is out of school, so expect a lot more productivity from both of us. I think Kyle, I don't want to give out too much, but I have something clicking on our YouTube channel. Again, go follow us at thejettake on YouTube. I forgot that one. I have a little thinking.
I do.
No. This is different. I'm keeping this under wraps, but I expect something probably around this weekend. You're
gonna tell me.
I will tell you. I'll tell you after this. And that's it'll be a fun thing. And then Kyle has his jet takeoff on YouTube as well.
It's just called takeoff. It's just called. This isn't hard. It's just called takeoff.
All right. Well, anyways, Kyle, thank you.
Little snippet though. The Ardarius Stewart breakdown that I did with Drew and Chris from Rock Power Report. Great guys, great drunks. Alcoholics Anonymous needed. I don't want to spoil it too much, but Anquan Bolden. That's who Drew, a diehard Alabama and a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, compared Ardarius Stewart to.
Right.
So
really quickly, just on that photo, because I'm looking at it, I really like how the Jets have changed their uniforms this year. It's very subtle, so it's not like the Jets have made a huge.
It looks
change.
crisper.
Yeah, so they changed the collar design. Go look up. The Jets are very Stewart. You can, and they also got rid of that weird darker green patch on their belly.
Yep.
So it's just solid green this time.
You know how hard it was to do jersey swaps with that because the number overlaps it.
Yeah.
So
and it looks less like sewage green, so it's more of the darker green, and then they changed the color. So I really like what Nike did there.
Still looking for those white face masks though.
I know that. I think that we'll see what happens. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for giving us another episode as I do thoroughly enjoy this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kyle's just gonna keep doing that. But anyways, we have fun things coming for this summer. A lot of free time. It's gonna be fun. Again, follow us at thejettake on Twitter. Kyle, any last words? And we'll I'll get the chant out of here, and we'll get going.
Producer wanted? Question mark.
We're hiring.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much.
A couple people are willing. I know this for a fact. So.
All right. We will see you guys next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Go ahead and call in at 1-515-739-1285. Enter the PIN 261-860. And as always, go Jets. We'll leave you with the best chant in the National Football League. We'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. Hackenberg for 2017.